Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Minga Revolution in this civil war amongst the Democrats. The Democrats having a civil war. But first, be sure to wipe your feet. You in the House of Revolution. That means hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. Let the world know Core Figure is live. This is a sad day for the Congressional Black Caucus. Excuse me. The Black Boule. It's a sad day for them, y'all. Now that they are saying the Democrats are racist and that they don't love black people, they overlook black people. They're bigots and hypocrites. Oh my goodness, why are they doing this? Why the Congressional Black Caucus attacking Massa? You see, they thought Joe Biden was going to leave Kamala in charge. Why would he do that when he don't even like her like that? She said he was racist. But let's see some of this anger that's coming from the Boule. They're very upset, and they say they're under intense pressure from the Democrats to drop Biden back, whoever the good white Democrats say back.
Ohio Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, former chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congresswoman, always glad to have you here. Congresswoman, listen, my parents have worked political campaigins. They've run phone banks.
Fight.
They put up yard signs.
Who cares?
They hung door knockers.
So what?
They've been poll workers.
Mine too.
I have been in and around politics, passing stuff out on election day.
Me too, Roland. Tell it you preach to the choir.
You name it, all the stuff since I can remember, since I was 6, 7 years old. I have never in my life seen a party viciously attack.
What the baby gonna do?
It's the top of the ticket. An incumbent president with an unbelievable record like what we are witnessing right now by a handful of Democrats in the House.
They made them.
But a bunch of donors and other so-called elite Dems.
Roland, I'm right with you. And like you, most of my life, I've been dealing with politics, whether it was an elected official, whether it was putting yard signs up, being part of the strategy team. And that's why the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm so proud.
I'm so proud that I have finally seen the way. And I really wish I could. What's her Joyce Betty, Ohio? I'm gonna send you an email, man, because I just want to know, do you know the difference between a man and a woman? Do you know the difference between a man and a woman? Because it seems like the Congressional Black Caucus don't win astray. Y'all don't know the difference no more. Y'all say men can be women and women can be men. We should start there, ma'am. Ma'am, are you part of? I bet you be sitting in church every Sunday pretending you was some Negro next to you. Is he a man? Come on, ma'am. Where did you go astray, ma'am? That's the problem.
We have been standing strong, and to quote Jim Clyburn, we're riding with Biden. And you hit the nail on the head. I cannot imagine why we have an internal fight with Democrats. And no one's given any options. They're saying, we don't want to change the rules of the DNC. We want to create our own rules and have a brokered convention, let people submit nominations. When we have a president that has delivered more than any of our past presidents, especially when you talk about health.
She just stabbed Barack Obama in the back. Y'all do know that the Congressional Black Caucus, they going against Obama, right? Obama is the main one trying to overthrow Joe Biden. Joe Biden called him the puppet master. This is shocking to me. So here you had a Congressional Black Caucus, they going against Obama. And you heard out her mouth, Joe Biden done more for us than any president. Ooh, this lady here is a Obama mad too. But he teaching all these hypocrites a lesson. He got more power than them. And the good white folks riding with Obama, they don't care what the Congressional Black Caucus got to say.
Healthcare and education, and you talk about Black Americans. What happened to us riding the tide with our president who has delivered? Just today, the stock market is up 700 points.
Look,
when you think about
that she say the stock market is up 700 points. What? What the hell are you talking about, ma'am? Biden told you to come tell black people that, ma'am? Huh? When is the last time you ever heard any one of the Congressional Black Caucus members tell you how good the stock market is? They trying to take some of Trump talking points and bring it back to us.
The polling earlier on your show, people were pointing it out that he is on the uptick with this.
That's a lie.
You're going to take a 90-minute speech and start unraveling this.
Now, this lady here is sick. She should not be representing her district in Ohio no more. She say y'all taking 90 minutes of him getting his butt whooped by Donald Trump in that debate. She's saying other than that, he's been vigorous. He's been fighting for people. Ma'am, no, he has not. No, he has not. The man is not mentally capable to be the president. And this is what's wrong with our community. This lady willing to say anything to blacks when everything falling apart. But guess what? They finna lose. They don't need them no more. You want to know why? They've been exposed. They don't tilt the needle in black politics no more. And they finding that out. The white Democrats throwing Kamala overboard with the Greek freaks. That's why they pissed. And they finding out. The people don't give a damn about y'all no more. They done seen we not listening to y'all. So why should they bargain with y'all? They telling y'all to either get with them or y'all out. Y'all out of there
close to the election and the convention. It does not make sense. And we have to hold our grounds and fight for Joe Biden because he's been fighting for our democracy. And here's the thing, we're misguided because the enemy is Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
It's the enemy,
I'm from Ohio. J.D. Vance is bad for Ohio, and he is certainly bad for America. And we should not be sidetracked and distracted when we have someone that's going to be a dictator, someone who is saying if he is elected on day one, he's going for retribution and revenge.
Good.
He has openly said he could stand on Fifth Avenue and kill somebody or shoot someone and nothing could be done. 34 counts he's been indicted on.
Ma'am, you mad because Donald Trump told the truth that the U.S. president absolutely can do that, and Joe Biden done proved it?
I mean, come on. I mean, you think of something that's negative, and that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
That's what you hear. That's what they bring it to us. He's evil. He's a dictator. He say he was gonna kill somebody. That's the policies of the This they trying to say their position, and she just talking about some talking points they gave that lady. J.D. Vance is bad for Ohio, and he definitely bad for America. Tell us some of what he been doing to Ohio, ma'am. Hell no, because it might sound good to you.
For the people out there watching and listening, the Congressional Black Caucus.
He been in Ohio fighting crime. He trying to lock up all the gangbangers and drug dealers. They've been stopping fentanyl from getting pushed across their border. They want to go to war with Mexico. Ooh, lady, I love that. Who want to do all that?
Under intense pressure to break.
Yes.
I've been talking to many CBC members. Donors have been calling y'all.
Yes.
They have been trying to get y'all to break.
Yes.
Other Democrats have been they've been trying to pick off different CBC members because the CBC is the largest caucus, the Democratic side.
Listen to him. The CBC, nigga, you worried about some campaign money. Listen, they've already got Hakeem Jeffries. That's all they needed, house nigga. They got the head of the Congressional Black Caucus. Y'all mad because y'all didn't get none of that money. Hakeem Jeffries didn't give y'all nothing. He kept it all to himself and called Joe Biden and said, Mr. President, I think you should step down. They mad because they left out in the cold. You see musical chairs going on in the Congressional, I swear to God. That's why I'm doing this live. We'll get to some Trump tomorrow. I'll give y'all more updates. Nothing happened there except the dude flew a drone over the place. We'll get to that. This is what's happening. The Congressional Black Caucus done play musical chairs, and when the music stopped, they didn't have no damn chair. That's why they mad.
They know if they are able to put cracks and break the CBC, the doors blow wide open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But let me just tell you, and you are right. There are people putting proposals out there, floating names of people that maybe we're supposed to be impressed with. But let me just tell you, I've never been more proud of our leadership. Stephen Horsford has been traveling the United States. I've been with him most days. Jim Clyburn, as we all know, spends a lot of time with President Biden. And here's the thing. We have so much at stake, our democracy, our freedoms, and we could also in our lifetime, Roland, have a Black man, Hakeem Jeffries, to be the Speaker of the House, the third most powerful person in this country.
Man, we had a president
and we
and
are
he didn't do
just
shit.
months
Please,
away
don't
from that.
So I got to ask you, and again, I've been sitting here and watching all these moves, these machinations, and it's real interesting. And I love it how they keep saying, oh, we need a fresh, vibrant, new voice.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, this.
Yeah, anybody other than y'all.
Here's the deal. Biden told some of these people he would not drop Kamala.
That's right. That's right.
So he's her greatest cover. She serves at the pleasure of the president. So their deal is, well, damn, we can't take her out. But if we take him out, then we can take her out, and then we can run Gavin or Gretchen or Josh. That's what's going on here. This is all a ploy to take out Kamala Harris. It's not solely about Biden. They want to take both of them out.
Roland, you are so on point as usual. And I said to a group of folks the other day, okay, you want change. They quoted, his 90-minute speech, and we don't think that he'll make it. He can't do it. And I said, but we have an amazing vice president. She has been tried and tested. She ran for president. She has been elected in California, served as a first Black woman. So the pressure has been on her, and she is the vice president. Not one of them said, we don't want Biden because we have Kamala Harris. And let me just tell you, from this Black woman, they will not attack my president and jump over Kamala Harris. We will not stand for that because we stand with our vice president. As she has said, she is running with Joe Biden because you're right. They don't want her either.
See, I mean, and I keep telling people, y'all, the coup d'etat is sitting right in front of you.
That's right.
It's sitting right in front of you. And what's amazing to me, and you don't have to say it, I'm going to say it again. Nancy Pelosi is not standing with Kamala Harris. I don't know what Barack Obama doing, but all this other little stuff, and I said it, this is the time that Barack Obama should come out and stand with his vice president and say to the party, enough of this. This is where Obama should be the leader and say, listen, the man has said he's running. I saw an interview. Cory Booker was on CNN. He's like, I trust Joe is going to make the decision. I'm like, he already made it. I mean,
he said,
how many more times did the man can say it?
He said on national TV, he has said to me in person, in the last 30 days, I have been with him. I have traveled with him. I am going to Milwaukee tonight to be there tomorrow to do some counter. And I am telling you, Joe Biden has said, I am running. I am not getting out of this race. And once he said that, stock market went up. His points went up after every speech that he gave after the debate.
It is. I mean, I just sit here and it's like
Black people.
The man said, I'm running. And he said, unless the Lord tells me, or
if the Lord comes down here and tells me, that's the only thing he would consider. But here's the thing, Roland. None of these folks are saying, here's who we want.
Must be the Lord,
not one. Not one.
No plane.
Because they don't want Kamala Harris.
And they don't want to say it. They tried to get to the Congressional Black Caucus. That plan didn't work. Then they tried to use Ohio because we had some drama with getting Joe Biden on Ohio's ballot. So then when we worked that out, because the DNC could have a rules committee, work with the rules so we could do it virtual, Then they didn't want that. So, but they don't have a plan. And as I have said to several people, you have to know the rules of engagement. There's not enough time to talk about, we're going to get someone vetted. We're going to train them. We're going to hold meetings and have people interview them. What planet are they on? And then what are they going to run on? When we talk about the economy, so they're going to run on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's record. When we talk about healthcare and capping insulin for $35, they didn't do that. If they're going to go back and talk about the infrastructure, $1.2 trillion, well, I led that when I was chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Jim Clyburn and Maxine Waters and all of us went to Nancy Pelosi and brokered a deal that the leadership couldn't broker. So what, they're going to run on that? I mean, I am so with you, and I am so pleased that you are speaking truth to power and that people are coming on your show, because we're not.
These people only worried about their power. Their power. This Greek freak thought Sister Girl was going to get them some more power. The hell with us. She ain't talking about nothing. None of y'all gave a damn about it. Hell no, because they don't give a damn about. They don't give a damn about us. And Obama done spoke. Cory Booker, you heard he came on TV and said Joe Biden need to think again. That's a senator, black senator. He spoke. Hey, Hakeem Jeffries called Biden and said, hey, you done. He done spoke. Now, the lower level of the CBC, they pissed because they're done. They have no sway with the black community no more. Now they crying. No, Kamala is tested and proven. She ran for president, yeah, and she was losing horribly. She dropped out the race. She was polling under 1%. Nobody wanted her. Nobody wanted her. Then they forced her onto they told her to pick a black lady. This is how disgusting the Democratic Party is. These coon, excuse my language, YouTube community guidelines, the Congressional Black Bootleg, we can call them bootleg. These people told Joe Biden, you have got to put a black person, they told a black woman as your running mate. He said, oh, y'all want a black woman? Okay, I'll give y'all this Indian lady. Now take this. And checkmated them, gave them the Indian lady Kamala Harris, and now they gotta pretend like she ever said she was black when she didn't. We're gonna get to that.
Afraid. We have too much to lose with Donald Trump. We should not be fighting ourselves and fighting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris when J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, they are the enemy.
Right. I can only imagine if Democrats have spent the last 20 days completely focused on Trump and his lies. Yeah. I could only imagine if they spent their time talking about how nutso J.D. Vance is after he got named on Monday. But no, you've got Pelosi making her calls, Schiff talking, Carville, these podcasters, Axelrod, all these people. And
because the whole world know Kamala Harris could never be president. The lady, go back and watch her interviews. The whole world laughs at her and call her a bumbling idiot. Because she gets there and then she starts smiling and laughing and giggling. She has a nervous tick. She just starts giggling when she can't perform well. And she giggles, laughs all the time because she's nervous all the time. But these people selfishly want to sit here and pretend like Kamala getting there, that's going to put us in power. Hell no. An Indian lady who married to a small hat, how that's going to help us? How that's going to help us? That's going to be a checkmate for the small hats, not us.
History also shows the 2 times Democrats changed the nominee before the election, they lost.
Exactly.
To me, this ain't that hard.
Okay, so please.
It ain't that hard. Questions for Congresswoman Rebecca, you first.
Thank you, Congresswoman, so much for being here tonight. So my question for you is, what should Black communities do to make sure that their voices are heard in this process?
We got to stop this.
Because
it's a civil war. You don't speak for us, ma'am. You don't speak for us. What do some of Black people? You see all that? The world know we not all around with y'all no goddamn more. Y'all not us. What the hell is wrong with y'all? We done with that. We could never go back. Y'all don't know the difference between a man and a woman. Come on, let's start right there. You don't. The Democratic platform, They don't know the difference. They say a man could be a woman could be a man. Come on now. It's over for people like this. When you ask them that, then they got the nerve to be sitting in somebody's church. Y'all hypocrites.
If everybody Black isn't registered Democrat and this isn't their party, that's okay. But this is still about who's going to be on everybody's ballot in November and whether or not there was a true and democratic process. So what is your message for Black communities as we're watching this play out?
Black communities should understand what's at stake. And a lot of people aren't engaged and they don't know the rules of engagement. But what I am saying, trust what we have had. We use that same process that gave us our first Black president. We use that same process that beat Donald Trump and gave us a Black vice president. So first, you must vote. You must.
They gave us our first Black president. And what did he do? Instead of kill Gaddafi and put Black people in cages, pass his LTBG, pass his LTB legislation, and then DACA, which was his big immigration legislation. That's what Barack Obama did. And I mentioned they were selling open slave markets in Libya. That's what these people need. These people need to be confronted about that. Keep bringing up Barack Obama, the war criminal. And we need to remind her, Black people was in cages behind that man. We gave you the first African. The man is African. Damn it, we done with all that. We gave y'all first Kenyan. The man father is Kenyan, man. What the hell are you talking about, man? We done with that, man. We don't want him.
Just use your voice and you must vote. And even if you say you're not into politics and you don't follow all this, think about what you have to lose. If you don't support this ticket, which is a tested ticket,
we gonna get
Biden beat him before when people said he wouldn't beat him. He beat an incumbent president. Biden has a track record to run on, and he has done more for Black Americans. So this is our time.
He has done more for Black Americans. Yeah, he locked their ass up, man, and threw away the key. The Biden crime legislation, mandatory minimums. See, they talking about Biden record. They don't want to tell you what it is. You should say, what is Biden record? They go on to the next topic. Biden, mister, if I catch you with one small piece of crack, 5 years. Then he smiled. The judge won't be able to do anything about it neither. When he was hooking up with the KKK legislator, I think it was Byrd. Then he went to the man, gave the man some, said some nice words when the man was dead at his funeral. That is Biden's history. That this woman should know. She old enough
to stand up. Use your voice. Don't let people convince you that someone is too old and he can't win. He was old when he won before. And Donald Trump is also young, is also old. It's not like he's young. Old, he can't complete a sentence. He doesn't answer questions. So the same barometer that we are judging.
These old people none of them want to go. Bunch of old people want to rule forever. This is another problem in the Black community. I don't know what the white community, Black community, Black churches. We just had R.I.P. Reverend Biff. Man died 100-something years old. They used to have a saying in the British Empire. Me and my little brother laugh about this all the time. I say this about Black preachers. The sun will never set. Y'all know what that means? That means they want to rule till they dead. You got to take the power. And that's what Biden is saying right now. Biden is a damn dictator. They're saying, Mr. President, you must step down. Democracy on the line. That man telling them, hell no. I'm not going nowhere. He a dictator. They know that.
Our president if we use that same thing, then Donald Trump should not be the candidate because we know on Biden's worst day, he's better than the best day that Donald Trump could ever have. So you got to get engaged. You got to help people get energized. Don't be a part of the naysayers just because you're reading a statistic or a fact or someone said, look how confused he was. He was sick.
Say, if you reading a fact, don't you dare read the facts. This lady just rambling. Don't you dare read the statistics and the facts. What? Yes, ma'am. We will read the statistics and the facts and the polls. And the polls show Biden's done. And Kamala is worse. This lady just told us, don't y'all ever look at the statistics or the facts. She talking to Black people. You don't know how to read facts. Y'all don't know how to look at those statistics. Oh man, boy, you got these people is out of their mind.
he admitted that he had not been feeling well. He was tired. I can tell you, you can take someone half his age, and if they are suffering with a cold, if they've just gotten off a flight from Europe.
Shame on this liar. Shame on this liar. Biden was suffering from sickness and he had a cold. Ma'am, you are a bold-faced liar. That's how he normally is. What the hell is wrong with you? Real Democrats, this is ridiculous. This lady will come on here and shame herself in her district like this. This is the lie for Biden racists behind. And tell black people he's the only choice we got. Trump is a madman and a big. Lady, please. What? Y'all still don't understand it's not gonna work. You ain't come up with nothing better. I mean, you really don't want to come around and say, look, we talking reparations here. Because you know I ain't gonna say that, man. I don't got permission.
If they've been going day and day, they may slip up on a word or two.
Look, I was in Ethiopia. That smoke got in my system 2 weeks.
Exactly.
2 weeks ago today. Hell, my ass still sick, and I was feeling like crap. ABC is reporting that on Saturday, Senator Chuck Schumer told Biden in a meeting it would be better for the country if he ended his reelection bid. Now, that was July 13th. This is interesting because 4 days earlier.
That's one of the most powerful people in the U.S. government and been that way for 20 years, Chuck Schumer. Small hat Chuck Schumer, who stood on the House floor and said he the leader of the Jewish people. He the most powerful Jew in America. Chuck Schumer said that as Israel was getting attacked. Said he the most powerful Jew in America. He said that. The Democrat Chuck Schumer. Hey, he told Biden, it's over. It's no path for you to the presidency, Mr. President.
Here, Chuck Schumer said this.
The president's ability to serve for 12 years, that there might be a challenge at the convention, and if there is there the ability to throw out the virtual nomination?
As I said before, I'm with you. Yes.
So July 9th, he says,
they would never let another country do what they're doing. Any other country try this, we're going to sanction you. Yeah, we sanctioning you because it's undemocratic. If the people did tell Biden, they did that. They made that mistake. Now, the elitist Democrats are taking him out of power. That is called a coup d'etat. That is illegal. They don't care. They said Trump was a threat to democracy, and they ruined the democracy in the whole world face.
I'm with Joe. 4 days later, said something different. Hey, here's my whole deal. Sharon Chuck Schumer, if you told Biden that privately, man up and tell everybody publicly.
Exactly. And that's what I want the American people to do. Follow the folks that speak truth to power. Follow the folks that aren't afraid to say who they're with or who they are against. And I don't care if it is a colleague of mine or not. If you want to say you don't want the president and you don't want the vice president, then let's hear who you have and tell me what they're going to run on.
Salute.
Robert.
Ain't nobody picking Kamala.
And thank you so much for joining us, Representative. I have this question that Joe Biden, as we saw this weekend in Las Vegas with NAACP, when things get tough, we saw this in 2020 in South Carolina, he runs back to the Black community for support. We are supporting him more than any other group. But what is going to be our demand in exchange for this support? Because when everyone else is gathering around, when the long knives are out, when we beware the eyes of March territory, he tends to lean on our community. Are we going to be asking for an executive order on criminal justice reform that is more extensive than the previous order?
You got us fucked up. Excuse my French, you dirty bastards. You see what he just did? Now he's saying, hold on. Y'all gonna use the black vote. Y'all need the black vote. What's our demands? We've been telling you what's our demands. Lineage-based reparations, anti-black hate bill. It's crystal clear the large part of the black community done said that. But what did he just do? 52 fake. He say an executive order on criminal justice. I'll be damned, nigga, if they waste our one wish on criminal justice reform. Then y'all got us fucked up. I keep saying this, all black people not criminals and don't have nothing to do with crime. No, hell no. You're not finna, no, y'all not finna do that. But you see what they pushing? And I'll be damn, Biden to fall for that. Biden them will do that. Okay. Executive order on criminal justice. We don't fuck that shit. No. lineage-based reparations in our anti-black hate bill. That's what we're talking about. And if Biden was leaning that way, he would have a bunch of black votes. But hell no, racist Democrats not finna do nothing for you like that.
Orders. Or we're going to be asking for an executive order on voting rights that will really ensure
voting rights. I'll be damned. Once again, 52 fake the food is all these years. Talk about people die for voters' rights. What? Lies. What did they give? They gave us the Civil Rights Act. That's for everybody. Oh, they gave us the holes in that, fair holes in that. That's for everybody. Oh, they gave us some more everybody, all the packages for everybody. Now here he go again telling us, he just told you, he started this off with, we should withhold our vote and let them know, hold on, well, what you gonna do for us? And then he went to packages for everybody. What the fuck you talking about? Them is everybody packages.
What the situation we're having now, how can he pay back the community before the election, not simply saying, wait till after I'm reelected?
You just hit the nail on the head.
Man, woman, please. And I knew you would. See? Okay, I tell you what. I'm going to take that package back to Joe Biden. Black people, and you asked for it, you got it. Criminal justice reform, huh? You wanted that? And voters' rights. What? Man, y'all, that's what y'all done. Bullshit like that is the reason y'all ass don't got no chairs and the music doesn't stop.
The same thing that we did before. And he kept every promise before he was elected. He said that he would put a black woman.
Joe Biden said that he would never run for another term. He would be a one-term president. That's what Joe Biden said. That he was going to be a transitional president, meaning he was coming in, he take out Trump, and then pass the baton. He lied. He fooled you.
On the Supreme Court. And he did. He picked a black female to be his vice president. He put more black people in cabinet positions.
He put more black people in jail.
In other strategic positions.
Yeah, gay black people, people from Jamaica, people from the Caribbean, gay tranny men. Yeah, he made a mockery of our goddamn people. I said, what the fuck? These people doing this on purpose? This got to be on purpose, nigga. These are the black people you know. Shit.
Than any other president. We went and we asked him to protect our communities, and let's do something with criminal justice. We have the most.
Oh man, it's hard. I ain't gonna lie, boy. When the bully in front of me, it's hard for me to get through this lie. Y'all, this lady say we asked him to protect our community. Yes, with the anti-black hate bill, and she went into criminal justice reform. Man, no, we did not. Biden locked all the black people up. You see, they got nerve to talk about criminal justice reform. The reason we need justice reform is because Joe Biden. If it wasn't for Joe, we wouldn't need none of that. All of the bullshit y'all been talking about, the courts, Joe Biden is a big part of that shit, a big part of it. And these people sit here with a straight face and pretend like they don't know that.
Most progressive gun legislation than we've ever had. We talked about protecting our seniors, especially black seniors who we know suffer with diabetes.
Gun legislation. What the fuck? I didn't hear the Panthers talking about that. Who gave y'all that script? I never heard Malcolm and Huey P., Fred Hampton, calling them out. They wasn't talking about they never said nothing about gun legislation. I want to know, where did y'all get that from? Where did that come? When did that come into the black community? We need to be tough on guns. Huh, ma'am? No. We need to make sure we train all our young men to legally own firearms, to take care of their families legally. Don't be walking around here with illegal firearms. So you got to start with that, man. Not tough on gun legislation. Oh, you want to be tough on guns, do you? Stop. You're right, ma'am. You got me. No more guns to Ukraine. That's how you stop all the weapons shipping. How about no more guns to the Azov Battalion, the neo-Nazis in Ukraine? Man, why do you like Nazis, man? Why is it okay for y'all to ship all our weapons and our money to the Azov Battalion? I need to put that in my email to you, too.
Or their insulin. Put a cap on it for $35 and then cap their medical expenses at $2,000. And it's created more than 15 million jobs. I'm right here in Ohio. He was ride or die with the late Eddie Bernice Johnson when we needed to get the CHIP Act passed, which created jobs. Right here in Ohio, we received $26 million right here in Ohio. And so I'm just telling you, he has kept his word. And yes, we meet with him, the Congressional Black Caucus. We've outlined a plan. We've worked with the Big Eight, I call.
Yes, ma'am. And Biden told y'all when he first met y'all, the first day he met y'all after he got in office, he said, hey, I know what I said. I'm not doing none of that. Y'all gonna have to get with the Mexican caucus, the Latin. He said that y'all have to get with the Spanish caucus because they are the caucus of the future. And Google it. Listen, he told it to their face. She talking about, and he's been keeping his word. Yeah, that he ain't doing shit for y'all. That yeah, you right. You right about that, man. If that's what you mean by keeping his word, he told y'all to y'all face, you're getting nothing. You better get with the Mexicans because they the future.
Call it our civil rights organizations. And we have put all of our issues out there. And I fully trust the Biden-Harris administration that they would follow through as they did before. And we were very victorious.
Scott?
Good evening, Congresswoman. Okay, I agree with you and the panelists about what a great president Biden has been. I write a lot of checks to the DNC and to federal and local DNC officials and to even Biden-Harris. So here's my question. If all of that's true about Joe Biden, I agree that it is, then why is he running behind Donald Trump, who's a convicted felon, been found liable for sexual abuse and for financial fraud?
That's getting
thrown. I mean, on paper, it shouldn't even be close. And so I agree the elites are trying to push him out, but for that bad performance and but for him running behind in the polls, can't ignore that. You know, in campaigns, all you got to get is one more vote to the next guy. So why is he losing this race less than 4 months out from the election?
Oh, this nigga trying to hedge his bets. This nigga here, you smart, boy. You may be a shoe shiner, but who said shoe shiners wasn't smart? All right, I agree. Biden, he a good guy. I agree. Biden is the shit. I agree. But because he know what Obama said, he like, shit, Obama just said I ain't finna, but I want to come back, Roland. I want to come back. Why is Biden losing if he's so great? Yeah, you tell me why Biden losing if he's so great, nigga.
Well, I know we've seen what the polls have said, and I know he's been behind and with
the polls.
And lots of polls. Lots of polls had me down 18 points and said that I would never go to Congress and be there. And those folks that asked that same question and said, why is she behind? Well, when we got closer to the election, obviously the polls were wrong, and I prevailed.
You got to be twisting your neck. You too old to be twisting your neck with that old Project Sister Girl shit. Why they ever let you in Congress, lady? You still a gangster. It's still in you.
Has been down in the polls before. So has other presidents at this very same time and won. Are we concerned? I don't want to sound naive. Absolutely. But it is more than the polls. If people get out to vote, if people get excited and energized that we also have a Black woman running on that ticket, I believe that he will be successful.
What Black woman running on the ticket? Man, now, you finna make a fool out of me. I'm sitting here. I'm the political guy to go to. You got this audience, 61 of us in here, and there's a Black lady on the ticket. Ooh, man, I got to put down this good dinner. I'm not smoking too much. What Black woman? I know it's an Indian lady on there who grew up with an Indian mother. No Indian lady could ever teach you how to be Black. And I know no disrespect to Indian women. What the hell can an Indian woman teach? You can't teach her how to be Black. Now, her daddy's Jamaican, so he can't give her that American Black culture and experience. So what are we talking about here? It's just this disgusting lady. You is what we thought what was a Black woman, but the Democrats seem not to know. See, they don't know what the fuck a woman is, a Black woman is. These people confused.
I can't address why the polls say that. I can't address every poll. I think we are taking it into consideration. But here's the other thing. We polled some of those same other names to run against Donald Trump, and none of them did as well as Joe Biden. So you may have a good point.
Look what she just told you. Then look at her. She pissed. She want to tell. None of them did better than Joe Biden. But that's not the point. They know they have given up on this election cycle. This not the point. Get Kamala off that ticket. take back control of the DNC. It's a power play right now. And Barack Obama he got power, and the Clinton still got power. Hillary could come out of nowhere at any motherfucking time. So this is not about beating Trump. And she just told the truth. None of them can beat Trump. Hell no, they're not. But they want to get that California dude, Gavin Newsom. They want him to step in. Cause see, that's the young guy that they want to portray, and he all for transition of our kids. I just seen they passed a new law out there. They don't even have to tell you, the mother and father in California. This nigga never be our president. They don't even have to tell you if your kid transitioning. The school can transition your kid behind your back, and I know you be like, how could that happen? If you try to say, hey, what's going on with my kid? My kid been acting weird. I don't like what's going on. Woo woo. That's child abuse. And then they can take your kid from you and lock your ass up for child abuse. Now, you think I'm playing? I just seen that. That's the Democratic law. Now, they won't bring that to America. And the Congressional Black Caucus, crickets. Crickets. Now, I already been confronting these Democrats about it. They don't have nothing to say on the record. They scared to death for me to put them on video. They pay shoe shiners, and they'll do anything for money. And they done sold they goddamn soul. And a lot of them don't know why they want to stray. They just been living so goddamn good.
Point. He should be higher in the polls because we know what he's running against. A felon, 34 indictments, someone who's not good for America. But he also won before when polls weren't as far down for our candidate.
This is so disgusting, man. It's so disgusting for these people to bring up Joe Biden won before, because anybody politically astute understand, how did he win? Barack. He need to thank Barack Obama every day. He also was losing. Kamala wasn't the only person losing. Bernie was mopping the floor with all of them, and they didn't have a chance in hell to beat Bernie Sanders. None of them losing bad. Joe Biden was coming in fourth. Elizabeth Warren was higher than him. Joe Biden was coming in fourth. Kamala Harris wasn't even Polish, so she dropped out. Nobody wanted her. Barack Obama, like the boss, told all the rest of them Democrats, I want y'all to drop out. Then I'm going to bring Joe. I want y'all to back Joe. Then we're going to go to South Carolina, Jim Clyburn, shine Joe's shoes, then come out and say, Joe, blacks going to get behind Joe. That's how Joe became motherfucking president. But why did Barack Obama do that? So Joe could carry on his policy. See, he trusted Joe a little bit more than the other Democrats. He didn't help them, this is about power. And now you see he's here to take Joe, but he give it and he take it away. You see? But the Congressional Black Coons, they're upset because Obama has no loyalty to Kamala Harris. He could give a damn about her. And they want her to win so they can stay in power.
That speaks to how bad America is right now. And that's another reason we need to be out there voting to protect all of our freedoms and to protect our democracy.
All right.
Would you agree? If I made one more.
Real quick.
Nah, you agree that Black America and Black voters just aren't excited about Biden Harris in 2022 or 2024. They're just not. How do you fix that?
Well, I'm not going to say that they're not that excited. Black America's not.
They're not. Congressional. It's so deceptive to say Black people. I haven't. And this is real talk. I don't get to run Kamala Harris. I haven't found one Black person excited about Kamala Harris. Even the Democrats, I know nobody wants her except these people and her small hat husband and his people. Nobody else wants her. Nobody wants her. This is ridiculous.
The Black Caucus represents 120 million Americans. And we are excited about having Biden Harris because you have to look at the alternative. And if we quit saying what we're not and deal with what we're going to get, if we don't get up off of ourselves and get out there and create the synergy and the energy, because this is the ticket we have. And I like your question. Tell me, if not them, who? And all the names we've heard, the polls say that they come out lower than Biden.
All right, you win that one.
I've never, Congresswoman, I've never seen an election won in the middle of July.
There you go. Right. Last words.
I've never seen it.
Why do you people see this?
Live that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did last night. It's got more than 2 million views already just on Instagram. It's been posted on other platforms as well. Here's a snippet of what she said, because what you're about to hear, you've heard on this show for the last 3 weeks.
I'm going to say what a lot of these folks aren't saying. I'm just going to say it. If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not just interested in removing the president. They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
Joining me right now is Texas State Representative Jarvis Johnson. Jarvis, glad to have you here. We've been saying it on this show, Jarvis, that that's what's at play. Because every time I see one of these folks say, Biden step aside, Biden step aside, all of a sudden, you never hear them say, well, who should replace him? I just saw one story, I'm going to try to find it, where now Nancy.
These people, man, the nerve of these people now to say the Democrats are being racist. And that's what you hear it on TV, the Democrats would be acting racist if they overlook Kamala Harris. It would be racist. But when we say the Democrats are racist, no, Trump is racist. Trump, no, the Democrats. Now all of a sudden, when it's convenient to tell the truth about those Democrats, when it's convenient to tell the truth, and I've been told people this, it's easy to know the Democrats are racist. You want to know how? Because when you stay in a certain city and you move to a certain neighborhood, and some of those neighborhoods that don't want black people in them, you think Democrats don't stay in the neighborhood? No, it's not, hey, we're Democrats, buddy. You're okay on this side. No, they don't want your black ass in their neighborhoods. It's okay for them to be red and blue, not you. That's how you know Democrats are racist, because they have the same racist policies. You never know if the racist is a Democrat or not, who is keeping your ass from enjoying some of the luxuries of America.
Nancy Pelosi is saying, oh, there needs to be an open convention so it's fair and transparent. No, Jarvis, they want to get rid of both of them.
Yep. That's exactly what they want to do. And right now, to try to say that we're going to have a new candidate is probably the most absurd thing I've heard. You're talking about somebody being your new presidential candidate that we have not vetted. We don't know. We don't know the background. We don't know much about these people. And so now you're trying to bring somebody new on just to simply say, oh, because Joe Biden is old. We knew Joe Biden's age when he ran for president the first time. So I don't understand this notion that we need somebody new to step in. The Republicans are going to stay true to their candidate, regardless of what his 34 felony backgrounds convictions say, regardless of the rape cases that he has, regardless of the RICO cases that he has. They're going to stay true. And we as Democrats need to stay true. We're not going to judge Joe Biden on the 90-minute debate that he had. It certainly, he can do better. But at the end of the day, Joe Biden is not Barack Obama, and everybody wants Joe Biden to be Barack Obama. They want him to have the charisma. They want him to be as sharp. They want him to be.
No, they just want him to function properly, be able to say a full sentence, and we can understand what he's saying. Want him to be able to keep his train of thought. That's all we're asking. That's all we're asking. We want him not to bring Zelensky over here in front of NATO, a big NATO meeting in front of the whole world, and say introducing President Putin, and really think Putin is there. That's all. Is that too much? Is it too much for him not to be having a big meeting, a live lecture where he letting the world know he back on it, he's mentally focused, and he say his vice president, Donald Trump, Huh? That's all we're asking, for him not to do stuff like that, brother, but that's too much.
All of these things, but at the end of the day, our economy is doing better. This country is doing better, regardless of what the certain medias are trying to paint this economy to be. We're all doing better because of it. This country's in a better shape because of it. And to put Trump back in place with the lies that we know he's going to tell, with the things that he's going to say just to simply say it, but at the end of the day, we know the lies are going
to. See, I don't like that from the Greek freak, and this brother definitely a Greek freak. Look at him. He got his Greek freak shirt down there. He got the nerve to wear a Greek freak fraternal shirts on here and tap dance and shoe shine live on TV. Good. Now, nigga, do your thing. Now, it's so disgusting that you would think Donald Trump is the first president to ever tell a lie. I mean, the way they say he lied, it's like it's a talking point. He's a liar. You can show, like, damn, presidents lie. They lie a lot. Bill Clinton, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Big lie, right in your face. Knew he was a bold-faced liar. But presidents, politicians lie. But Donald Trump, he's a liar. You know he's going to be lying. Come on. Massa told him to say that. They people don't know. And then they just say it. You can't believe a word he's saying. He's after democracy. How much y'all get paid? How much do you get paid if you say he attacking? I really want to know. I got bills to pay. If I say Trump is attacking democracy, how much do they pay you, brother? What's your email?
Will show themselves again, and Donald Trump will be true to who he is. It's the old scorpion and turtle mentality. He's gonna say one thing, but at the end of the day, you give him what he wants, he's gonna be who he is, and that is a scorpion.
In fact, this was a conversation on MSNBC, and again, now these people are revealing who they really are. Listen to this.
Do you believe the best way forward is what some people have called a mini primary? What happens next, and how quickly could it happen?
Well, I think, should he make...
Let's not get past, he just said, now they revealing who they really are. Who are they, Roland? I thought they were some racist bigots who started the KKK. Me personally, I thought they were the party of slavery and the party of Jim Crow. Not Joe, the real Jim Crow. I know Jim Crow, the real Jim Crow. He loves slavery everywhere he go. This the party of it, Roland.
Make that decision, there will have to be quick steps. I don't think we can do a coronation, but obviously the vice president would be the leading candidate. I think kind of a mini primary, maybe a vetting hosted by former presidents, including Obama and Clinton, would be helpful and help focus the attention. And whoever emerges, including Kamala Harris, would be a stronger candidate than if we tried to exclude a transparent public process.
Jarvis, here's why that's stupid. Here's why that's stupid. So it's July 19th. The Democratic Convention starts August 19th.
Right.
It ends August 23rd. So these folks are basically, let's go there. And so for the next month, what the hell are we gonna do? So we already know the runway is already shorter. So now you want to blow another whole month waiting to figure out what you're going to do. So now you left yourself with 10 weeks. And then if you don't pick Kamala Harris in 10 weeks, you got to assemble a national campaign, raise money. We got to know who these people are.
We know who these
and then,
is.
Come on, bro.
Say, man, this is like the...
Here, you see, they want Kamala so bad because it keep them alive. 4 years of that black talk. They just licking the new houses, new shopping sprees, trips to Boule land. They gonna be swimming in the Boule bucks. Look at their faces. 4 years of that black talk. Hell no, I don't think so. Barack Obama pulling the rug from up under you coons. He should never help y'all come up. That's serious business. He acting like they gotta raise money. They got all the money in the world. What the fuck are you talking about? Name recognition. Gavin Newsom. They've been giving them free promotion on CNN. These niggas trying to act like they ain't seen Gavin Newsom been getting free promotion. Gavin Newsom on every fucking channel, even Fox News. When I seen that, I said, oh shit, they building him up. Come on, boy. Don't try to act like the white folks don't got this already ready to go. They done with y'all. Y'all mad because we laughing. We told y'all the Democrats were some racist bigots. Now they showing you.
The 90-day wedding, the 90-day.
Right.
How do you do that? No, nobody gets to know anybody in 90 days to say, you're going to be with me and make my life better. No, that ain't going to happen. You're not going to get to know anybody in 90 days. You're not going to get to know.
That's what they get for destroying the Democratic Party. Man, Bernie could have easily did this, bro. But they told him down. They won't let him. They forced him to back Biden. Listen, I don't give a fuck what y'all don't believe me. Bernie could have easily stepped in. He ready to go. Bam, battle Trump, battle for it all. Who knows? Bernie probably could have won. None of them is bigger than Bernie. But Bernie pissed off all of his supporters. A lot of them are backing Trump. I was backing Bernie. A lot of he absolutely caved in, allowed them to rob him, allowed him to rig the election. All his people got pissed. All his young people, a lot of his people over there with RFK, Robert Kennedy right now, those are all Bernie supporters. And Trump know that shit too. But Trump has said this 1,000 times. Bernie was the only one that could beat him. And now they're like, who? Who could possibly? Oh, man, y'all know what y'all did. Y'all done ran the DNC. Y'all pretend like Joe Biden was the only one capable. Now you stuck with that. You got to wear that.
Everybody in 30 days. It is absolutely asinine. It's absolutely absurd. And we need to move forward. We need to stay committed to our candidate and make sure that we can push our agenda forward, make sure that we're pushing the things that are important to us forward. But to show weakness the way we're showing it right now, I think is why so many people want to flee from the Democratic Party, because there's no fight in us. We kind of cower to everything that Fox is saying, and CNN picks it up, and then they start running with it, and that becomes a narrative. Because Trump called him Sleepy Joe, and that became the narrative. I mean, we need to call it the way it is, man. Look, we can win this if we stay true to who we are, if we can stay true to what this country needs. But to play this game right now, man, we look weak by simply cowering them and saying, we're going to change. We're going to go get somebody from California, somebody from Illinois. Come on, man. You know, the country don't know everybody, so we have to stay focused. Our economy is doing better. We're good under Biden because he flubbed some words. Hell, I can tell you every day, Donald Trump flubs words. He don't even know J.D. Vance, his vice president's name. You know, come on. It's a joke, man. And I fear that if we
got it good here, we don't want no freedom. How we gonna eat? Where we gonna stay? Huh? It's good here. That's what that man just said. We got it good. That came out of him. Senate of a House nigga. We got it good with Biden. He couldn't help himself but say that. He couldn't help himself but bend out and just start shining shoes on the Roland Martin show.
We do this, we're absolutely going to lose the White House. And people need to keep in mind, Project 2025 is real. And if people don't think that Trump is going to push Project 2025, if they don't think that Trump is going to go after his political enemies, if they don't think that Trump is going to try to be a dictator.
You know what's so disgusting? Project 2025. You know, I'm gonna run a live on that so we can just get that bullshit out the way. We don't. But if it's really gonna affect us so bad, why are we just hearing about it? Why are we just hearing about it? These house niggas know they never heard about it until Massa told them about it. You know, Project 2025. You actually, man, just give me all you know about it. He couldn't give you shit because that's all they know. It's called Project 2025. It's bad for blacks. You're going back to slavery. That's disgusting, man. We tired of that. Vote Democrats or slavery is the only option. Project 2025 is the new slavery. They telling us that bullshit. They should be ashamed of themselves, man.
And if black people don't realize that this is going to be an all-out war against us, because they are going to attack who we are, because they know we control the voting block for the Democrats.
You already attacked who we are. Boy, you transitioning our babies. I mean, listen, I don't want YouTube to pull these videos. They hate talking about that. You already attacked who we are. You know, y'all not spiritual no more, Greek freak. You don't know the difference between mom and daddy. That's out the window with y'all. That's serious business. That's not hyperbole. That's gone. No more mommy, daddy. No more daughter, son. Y'all have wrecked that in y'all platform, brother. You think they're going to attack us? Nigga, you attacking us. What the fuck do you think? How you can't sit in a black church and sing how we made it over with your disgusting policies? You Naus niggas will not be standing in the same room with me with this, acting like this, speaking like this. Come on, brother, hear me out. What the hell would I ever play these games with y'all for? They gonna attack us. Well, y'all just kill us spiritually.
So that's why they're attacking us. But at the end of the day, they're gonna take our livelihood. They're gonna take our way of life away from us. And yet they're gonna say, no, he's not. He's gonna do better for our country. No, he's not. Trump is a joke and doesn't even know what he's doing.
They're gonna take our money. See, that's all they worry about. Man, they're gonna take away the good jobs, brother, the black jobs. I mean, no such thing as black jobs. But they're gonna take away our livelihood, brother. Who is all this day? Who is all this day? You know, Trump, them. I thought y'all said Democrats racist. They don't like Kamala Harris. Now, is Trump the Democrats who don't like Kamala Harris? They all just alike. They all just alike. Nah, well, why should we vote for the ones who want to keep us in low-income housing? If see, this is what we started at from the beginning. If all of them are just alike, why the hell should we be with the ones who don't want us to have be spiritually connected to our ancestors? Have a culture. We don't like this new culture that y'all trying to put together. We don't like that.
Man, and I got some real choice words, but I'm not going to be cussing on your show.
I'm going to go to Kelly. Kelly, a group of black women, 1,400 signed a letter. Go to my iPad saying they support Biden. They're condemning lack of democratic unity. I got a call 2 days ago.
We don't know
a group of black men are working to put their own letter.
Black women. Y'all said Kamala Harris was black. Hell no. I don't know. And that might be actually 10 real descendants of slaves on there. Everybody else from all kind of different places. No disrespect, none of them places, so I won't name them. But when you said the Indian lady was black, that's it. Y'all say rubber stamping. That's how y'all stole all our property. Oh, I'm here. This is disgusting, man. This is really disgusting. A lady who Indian and then her husband, she can't produce one black child. We can't. What shows you when her children walk on stage? It's all those little white children. We don't got no disrespect to them. But it's the first guy. They call him the first gentleman, whatever his name is. Those his kids. Y'all ain't had nothing together. He ain't want nothing with you.
Together as well. What you're seeing here are black folks. They see what the okie doke is. Black folks like, oh, we see what y'all doing. Y'all trying to bypass the sister. We see. And that's really what's at play here, Kelly.
I mean, I have my own personal thoughts on that, but what I will say is that since the beginning of time, as far as modern American history, the canary in the mine has always been black people. And when it comes to politics specifically, when you listen to black people and you actually heed to their recommendations and policy and the like,
which y'all don't.
Great things happen for this country. I'm talking Civil Rights Act, Fair Housing Act. Pick a policy
I told you, man. Listen to me. Whenever you talking to these people and you say, what the hell is the country done for? When I found out, I was shocked, stunned. But then I went back. Civil rights and fair housing. Nigga, that's for everybody, nigga. It's about black people. She said, whenever black people pick the policy, so our policies is for everybody. We never pick the policy for ourselves. But they tell you that. They go over everybody's head. When they say our ancestors died, fought for Fair Housing Act. Man, that's just bullshit, man. That's nonsense, man. And they tired of them getting away with that. That shit is for everybody. Asians, white women, Arab, young men. That's all for all of them. Martin Luther King did not die for that. That's bullshit. Y'all should be ashamed of y'all goddamn self, man.
Actually benefits all of us. It will likely be traced back to a person of color and at its inception. So I understand the petition. I agree with the petition, but you really do, and not you specifically, but the proverbial you, absolutely need to listen to black people, black women.
See, no, hell no. Y'all get massage y'all goddamn self. Y'all leaving the men out. Y'all leaving us out. We're not finna hand over the power of black people to an Indian lady. You missed us with that. Now, if it would have been a black woman, we would negotiate the torch. But for an Indian lady who her husband, when she look at him every night and say, I love you, baby, he's a small hat guy? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind, ma'am? You getting paid to sell us down the river. Then you say, the black woman. Nah, y'all see, that's disgusting. And the reason they can get away with that because they know black men respect black women no matter what the fuck they say and how they try to paint the picture disrespectfully. They know we do. So like, we can just use the black woman. We can get them goddamn males to submit like they've been doing for a long time. We hold the black woman hostage. But then they want to psychologically beat us down all over the internet, all over the TVs and movies, acting like it's the other way around, painting a bad picture. Come on, man. Just look at what they do. How do you think they're allowed to do this? Because of our love for the queen.
Michael, you got a question for Jarvis?
Representative Jarvis Davis, thanks for coming on today. Quick question for you. 14 million people voted in the primaries for President Joe Biden, and we knew Vice President Kamala Harris was going to be on the ticket. The Democratic Party says that Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy. They talk about Donald Trump trying to overthrow the will of the people with the January 6, 2021 insurrection. Do some of them realize that they are trying to do something similar? Trying to push Biden out and then try to get somebody else in after 14 million people voted for Biden?
Well, of course, but politics is not what politics used to be. It's not about who's the best candidate. It's not about who's the smartest. It's not about who's going to be the best. It's really about clickbait, man. It's really about who says the things. For me to listen to Democrats and Republicans alike say, Trump speaks like me. He speaks for me. You know what? That's the worst thing I've ever heard. I don't want somebody like speaking the way he speaks for me. It's like saying my pastor is a drunk and my pastor is a fornicator and a pedophile and all, and that's why I want to go to his church. No, I want somebody better than me. But I think, again, media has painted this picture, and more Americans and more voters are going with the sensationalism of what they think is going to be best for them. Trump is going to be strong. Him standing up there with that fake shot and, pumping his fist after, allegedly that's what they want to see. Well, that's not
really telling you the hate. He really telling you the insecurities that he got in the strength of Trump. See, that's what he really doing. Pumping his fist like a soldier. You hate that, right? But you respect a frail man who can barely speak, making America look weak. But you don't respect the man who took a bullet, get up and say, fight, God damn it, fight. Come on, brother. Be real. See, but they'll put this dude right here over men to feminize him. Take the alpha up out you. See, these dudes don't want the alpha, and they talk about, oh, man, we don't fight. You don't fight, nigga. Never scratched a day in your damn life. Bootleg, Greek freak.
President. That's just, that's a character. And I don't want a character in the country.
Okay. Thank you. Reality TV show character.
Yep.
Matt. Jealous of that man. Well,
yeah, Rep. Davis, thanks for serving the people of Texas, brother. We need you. Here's my question for you. How much of this do you think is coming from down ballot races, people like John Tester and others who are concerned about their own political future and who are jumping on board to try to, oust Biden for their own self-interest, whether that be to supplant him or down ballot races? How much of that do you think is factoring in?
I don't know. It's always been, top down. And yes, there are a lot of people that I think are cowering to this notion of, well, if you support Biden, then we're not going to support you. You ain't going to support me anyway. It's kind of like when we are, as Texas legislators, left the state of Texas to stop the voting, the hateful vote to block voting rights of Black people in the state of Texas. We left, and we were getting calls every single day saying, come do your job. If you don't do your job, we're going to vote you out. And I was always looking at it, you ain't gonna vote me out because you're not even in my district. You wouldn't vote for me anyway. So I think it's a lot of short-sightedness. I think it's a mindset that they're afraid because they're not rooted in their own community, and they're listening again to the clickbait. They're listening to the media, and they're being they're cowards when it comes to this. And now they're saying, oh, well, let's go find somebody new. And they're speaking out against him. So yeah, I agree with that to a certain degree. But at the end of the day,
the problem with shoe shines like this, he's a great shoe shine, probably one of the most legendary shoe shines you've never seen, is they let an old racist bastard like Jim Crow Joe tell them it was no Black man capable of leading this country. None, period. Why? Because they picked the Indian lady. Well, the shame on it. But then they want to say that what they're grooming Hakeem Jeffries. I'll be damn, man. That man went along with genocide. That man is also a shoe shiner. You see, they will sit in your face and tell you Joe Biden is the best. And look at black people and say that. They're like, are you crazy? We're not willing to accept that. And we know his history. But easily. We'll vote for Joe Biden if he can show us a picture of him and Dr. King. How about that? That is, I will come on here and vote Joe every day until November. If they can show us one picture of Joe Biden with Dr. King, because Bernie Sanders already showed us his picture with Dr. King. He went to jail with Dr. King. I never forget that when they was running against each other. Now I told my dad, I said, look, he went, no. The Democratic Party was like, The House niggas was saying they didn't remember Bernie. Bernie didn't want to clout chase. Never had showed the picture a day in his life, bro. Until they said he did not know Dr. King. Bernie produced the picture. And then he said, well, yeah, he wasn't a big part of the movement. Oh, what? And Joe Biden was against Dr. King, used to call him Dr. Coon. And Hillary Clinton was a Barry Goldwater girl. This is how far they have came. They picked people who was against Dr. King to lead us, instead of somebody like Bernie who actually went to jail with the goddamn man.
I think that's a wrong philosophy that we're taking. That's a selfish one, and it's one that's going to hurt. While you may be able to save your seat, this country is going to be lost, and so you'll be inconsequential by simply saving your seat, but yet losing the country, and we can't afford to do that. But people need to be more focused on their own communities. If you do good work in your own community, you don't have to worry about not being reelected.
We should not hear no Democrats say they're doing good work in our goddamn community, man. Y'all trying to charge parents with child abuse if they tell their kids they don't want their sons to be a woman and their daughters to be girls. You can't. They try to tell you the kids got to be able to transition. That's what they push. You want crime to be at an all-time high. They say that's good for our communities. That's what they say. That is good for our communities. Disgusting.
Because the Republicans are threatening you. Republicans are threatening you, then you ain't doing a good job. You're not doing a good job at all.
All right. Hold tight. Wow, Jarvis, I appreciate it, man. Always good to see you.
Look at they paid that man real good money to come on here and pretend like he the voice of the black. Bro, let's feed Obama the one wrote this out. Let's get into Obama. See them shoe shiners? Obama ain't even picking up the phone to talk to them right now. He ain't worried about them. He taking them out of power. He put them in power. They wasn't nothing. Al Sharpton, he's going to take Obama.
All right. Well, President Biden is set to step down this weekend. Barack Obama's plan to replace Joe Biden is here. It's over. President Biden is stepping down this weekend as expected. We've been reporting that now for about a couple of weeks now. We expected, and we reported last week that sources were pointing to this week that President Biden would step down early in the week. We anticipated, but of course, there was a little assassination attempt that got in the way, and that sort of soured the mood for them to step down. And there was some concern, of course, from Democrats that maybe it would be too soon to do that. Maybe they could jockey some positions to allow him to stay in the race. Now that ship has totally sailed. And Barack Obama, according to the New York Post, is the Barack stabber. This is their headline today. Barack stabber. Obama turns on Biden, pressures president to drop 2024 bid. So again, Saturday looking likely. Sources are saying from the Democratic side that he'll likely step down from the 2024 ticket on Saturday. NBC News, the liberal media is now confirming this from these private meetings, that's what they're hearing. And all of these Democratic aides are taking to television to confirm it, that Biden will step down this weekend. Watch.
We're back with breaking news. NBC News is now learning that Joe Biden and his world, they're bracing, at least Biden world is, for the possibility that President Biden will step aside from the 2024 race. Quote, there is now a palpable sense that the ground has shifted from under him, according to 5 people with knowledge of the situation, even among some of the president's most defiant backers internally, who now believe the writing is on the wall. NBC's Natasha Korecki is one of the reporters who broke this story. She is on the phone. Back with us is David Jolly. Natasha, this is very deeply sourced. I want to read 2 more quotes from this reporting. One is a person close to Joe Biden who says we are close to the end. And a person who spoke with a senior campaign official said they're finally realizing it's a when, not if. We just spoke to Quentin Folks, who said Joe Biden's mind has not changed. He's not going anywhere. But what is your reporting? Tell us more.
Well, our reporting is very different behind the scenes than what, folks and others are saying publicly right now. And that is that what is happening around Biden right now is just unsustainable. The calls from allies, the people who have insisted to us and to others that he isn't going anywhere, we're now hearing them say things have changed. It's as you just mentioned, it's not an if, it's when.
It's not an if, it's a when. And then, of course, yesterday we have Go ahead.
I was just going to say, think about it. Like, let's say Joe Biden didn't agree to any of this. What is the best way to do this is just start saying, hey, we're just going to start saying it. We just start saying it, and he's going to have no choice because he's not going to be like, oh, they're running these ads and like fracture the party even more. So even if he hasn't agreed, putting this out there, he's pretty much going to have to.
Or not just him, but his people, because he won't understand that people are backstabbing him clearly. So his people are not going to come out there and say, actually, they're all turning on us and we never agreed to anything of the sort. Then it just shows how much the Democratic Party is fractured, which, of course, we know that.
Joe Biden came out and said Barack Obama, he didn't come out and say his people released they leaked information saying Barack Obama is the puppet master. Joe Biden has agreed to do none of this that they keep talking about. He fighting to the end. He a dictator. He the president of the United States. He said, hell no, I ain't going nowhere.
Right. It's kind of like getting up at the Academy Awards and like ripping open the envelope, even though it doesn't say what it says. It says you read out in somebody else's name. Like, and the winner goes to Clint Eastwood, even though he's not. And then he stands up and so it doesn't really matter. If you say it, he becomes the winner. And then if they have to put the horse back in the barn later on, it doesn't matter. That horse has already left the stable, right? And so that's exactly, I think that's a great point, David. They do this all the time in politics, and they're trying to get out in the media to say this. And we're going to get to that part of it in a second, because yesterday COVID hit Joe Biden once again. I think this is the third time now that he's gotten COVID. He's had, I think, 4 vaccines. He's had like multiple booster shots. He tweeted out, "I'm sick." Okay. And then about an hour later, he tweets, "I'm sick of Elon Musk and his rich buddies trying to buy this election." Oh, and liberals are like, well, that was a genius move. Mm-hmm. That was a genius tweet. You held us for an hour. See the time difference there? 20 hours, 19 hours. There was quite a bit of difference in time. I'm sick of Elon and his rich buddies.
The I'm sick one is probably the first time he's ever tweeted himself. That he's just like, "I'm sick." Right. And they're like, no, we got to add some more. He got a hold of his phone. Crap, how'd he get the login?
By the way, look how many different yeah. I was gonna say, by the way, look at how many like impressions that one got. It got like 16 million impressions versus the second one, which had like far less. People were like, look at that. 20 million versus the other. Yeah, they're 169 million versus 20 million.
Right. Like, oh, you're going to tell us something real? Oh, it's just a campaign. Okay.
Oh, it's just,
I'm not in on this.
So anyway, he gets COVID, right? It's very, very convenient because a day before he told the press that if he got sick or if his doctors said that he, was not fit because of some sort of a condition, that he would consider maybe stepping down. And then within 24 hours, he has COVID, and Miranda, it's all very convenient. And now he's going to take a few days isolating. They're going to cancel campaign events. That's interesting because Miranda Devine, of course, who broke the Hunter Biden laptop story and everyone mocked her. She was 100% correct. She tweeted this: "A day before Joe Biden announced he has COVID, the no-fly zone alert for pilots showed he was flying to his beach house in Rehoboth Wednesday night until Sunday night. In other words, this 4-day recuperation was pre-planned. Coincidence? Did he know he had COVID when he flew to Nevada Wednesday and met with people without a mask on and shook hands with people? Kissed people?" Okay. Nancy Pelosi held a private meeting, and we now know this, to David's point earlier. So how do we know all these private meetings? It's because the Democrats then went to the press. Pelosi privately told Biden polls show he cannot win and will take down the House of Representatives. Biden responded with defensiveness. Again, the only reason we know this is because Democrats leaked it to the press. It was not Republicans. There was not a Trump aide hanging out on the walls of the White House. This was Democrats leaking this to the press. Nate Silver tweeted this. He's no conservative. He's, more of a liberal pollster than anything. He said, so they basically held an intervention with Biden and it didn't work. So now they're leaking details publicly. Yeah, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was there, told him in this private meeting that money is drying up. All the donor money is drying up. Chuck Schumer, who was there.
So private.
So private. Now they all share this information with the press. And by the way, we also learned a lot of private details from this meeting, kind of really embarrassing details from this private meeting. So he's sitting there, President Biden is, and all these Democrats are telling him, it's over, buddy. It's over. You need to drop out. He's getting defensive, which he does. Someone hands him a slip of paper, one of his aides, that says, you need to be nicer. You're sounding really defensive. And so he reads it. You know how he just reads things out like in the teleprompter? Pause, repeat. Well, that's what he does. He's like Ron Burgundy. So he literally reads the note out loud that someone handed him. And then he says, be nicer. You sound defensive. I'm sorry.
It's like the scene from Annie where Daddy Warbucks is in the... Did I just read a commercial?
Yeah.
Drop page. My favorite.
Daddy Warbucks. So the Biden camp, of course, is denying that they've been prepping for Kamala Harris, that they put together a transition plan for Kamala Harris. She will become the nominee, of course, with President Obama delivering a rousing speech at the DNC. This is my informed speculation that President Obama will deliver a rousing speech at the DNC, and he will be the one to really make the case for Kamala Harris, trying to reignite some fire within the Democrats. And I think it's very telling, actually, yesterday, Rachel Maddow on the air yesterday on MSNBC, because the rest of the network, MSNBC, were all reporting the same thing, that Biden is being forced out. He's going to be done. He's going to likely be done by this weekend. Then Rachel Maddow, who's been a huge fan of President Biden, she gets on the air and reads out that a 31-point drop has occurred among black women voters in America for President Biden. That President Biden has lost 31% from black women voters. So how do you remedy that? Dun, 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 dun. Kamala Harris, right?
Okay.
So it's a very convenient poll to be reading out on the same day.
That's what they think, that black women are that able to be manipulated because of somebody who might look like them. That's what they think of black voters.
Right. Yeah. They think that they're that manipulated.
They want to help.
Yeah. Well, for decades,
they want to help break that glass ceiling.
Black voters have been manipulated for decades by Democrats and lied to. And you've seen over this election cycle, many black voters coming out, making social media videos and interviews have said, we've been lied to for 40 years. We thought that they had our best interests at heart. We've been lied to.
Yes.
And we're done. So can Kamala Harris save them?
As long as black voters might want to turn the other direction, because when illegal immigration is a thing and a problem to this extent, black voters and black people lose their jobs. Black incarceration goes up. Have they noticed that, or are they still just going to say, I mean, they really think that they're that dumb that like that person looks like me. That person's a woman.
And she might not
I'll
even
vote that way,
and
right?
she's not even, she's not right. I mean, she's Indian and Puerto Rican, right?
No,
So
she's Bahamian, I believe. She's Caribbean and half Indian.
Yeah.
Yes. But they really, according to them, representation matters for everything.
Right. It doesn't matter. It's identity politics all the way.
Course, Jake makes the point about conversations people have had with family members, that we've all had with family members. And that's what this may boil down to, conversations with Biden family members. And from all the reporting, it seems that
his world has shrunk
Anderson, to his family and a couple of close advisors. And someone has to recognize the reality of the situation. There was a memo circulating today among the congressional leadership done by a PAC for the Senate and House, PACs for the Senate and House. And in it, it said that 18% of people now say they believe the president is fit to serve. 18%, including just a third of people who voted for him last time. You put that together with the meeting with Katzenberg, which reflects, I think, the reality. The money has dried up. And I said earlier,
There's a report that Jeffrey Katzenberg, a large fundraiser,
who is his key fundraiser. No one has done more for the president than Katzenberg. He's devoted his life to this project. Someone has to say, here is the reality. There is not a path forward. He said in an interview that he would get out if he was told by his advisors that there wasn't a path forward. If his advisors don't tell him that now, they're not doing him a service, and they shouldn't be his advisors.
This is the end game now.
He go to shoe shine.
He may be able to run out the clock and stay on the ticket, but you got to lead, and we have a big coalition. You have a lot of African American voters who are still with Joe Biden. They still want him to stick in there. We're used to seeing our leaders stumble.
No, we don't. Revolutionary salute to our brother Randy for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is a way of life. I appreciate the love, family. Salute. Now listen to this shoe shine as he get the blacks. We ride for Biden. We not. He finished.
We're used to seeing our leaders be attacked by the media in ways that aren't fair, and we're slow to let go of somebody's hand. So I'm proud that the black grassroots is standing with Joe Biden. But the party's bigger than that.
No,
the donors are walking away. The best people in our party, the smartest people in our party are looking at the math and saying the math don't math. And so it's important, I think, that we recognize that this could be, this is the end game. One way or the other, it's the end game. And tonight's very important.
One other thing I want to add. I'm sorry, just one last data point, which is that there was an AP NORC poll today that said 2/3 of Democrats want him to drop out. And that, yes, he's got stronger support among African Americans, but there are a fair number of African Americans but that too. And it's a reflection of what they see.
Right.
Well, and Jeff Stelling makes a great point that tomorrow marks 3 weeks since the debate. And I talked to White House officials. I was at the White House last week. They really thought they were going to hit the ground running coming out of this. He was going to do a lot of public events. He was going to do a bunch of interviews. Well, now he's going to self-isolate for a few days. And every interview and public appearance he's done has not done enough to materially change what you are hearing from Democrats behind closed doors, who do believe that it is up to the Pelosi's and Schumer's and that small group of advisors around him, the Mike Donalds, the Steve Richettis, to kind of have that conversation. And even they behind the scenes seem to be getting closer to that point.
And so add to that what we heard from J.D. Vance tonight, which is not on Daniel Deal's list because it's true. Right? It is true. We have a big tent in our party. We love this country. We are united to win. The Democrats see this here. This party has rallied around Donald Trump. For all the controversy about Trump in the past, this party is rallied around Donald Trump. So Democrats are looking not just at the polling, but to David's point and to Jake Race's point. If you make a policy mistake or you did something out there, you can change that. You can apologize. You can change your policy. You can have an event. This is a performance question. It's not just that they're telling the president, you're losing Michigan, you're losing Pennsylvania, you're losing Wisconsin, you're losing Nevada, you're losing Arizona. You're beginning to put New Mexico in play. What? You're beginning to put New Hampshire in play. What? You put Virginia in play. Hello? It's not just that. They're saying the reason is because the American people, to David's point about the poll, and they're showing the data, they do not believe you are up to the job. That's not something you can change. And it's like, at least if you come out of the debate, you knew they were raising that question. To Caitlin's point and Abby's point about the interviews and the performances, if you thought you could change it, you have not succeeded because the numbers are getting worse.
I continue to think that this is more than just a political problem. I mean, if Democrats are saying that he's not fit to serve in January, and we're seeing the rapid deterioration of the president before our very eyes right now, I still think we need to have a conversation about who's running the country today and is he fit to serve for the next few months. I'm just not satisfied that this is only a political campaign problem. To me, the country still has to operate, and he's still supposedly the president.
I would just say quickly, the split screen of Joe Biden walking off that airplane and the imagery from this evening should have Democrats very concerned.
Look, it's pretty remarkable because we saw, obviously, J.D. Vance had his big moment in the sun at the RNC last night, but the reality was all anyone was talking
But so the news is, of course, the RNC is going on today's day for Make America Great Once Again. But you saw that split screen that we opened our program with. While you see the swagger screen right of Donald Trump, screen left, you've got Joe Biden, who is struggling in Las Vegas to make it up those 15 stairs. He's got COVID.
The baby stairs.
Van Jones over on CNN perfectly summarized what we're looking at right there and what has happened over the last 80 hours.
Today is a terrible day. If you pull back and look at this thing, strength versus weakness, a bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You've got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together. That's what's happening. And at some point, this party has to look at the reality of that.
He's absolutely right.
Well, it seems Nancy Pelosi is looking at the reality of that. It's being reported this morning that she had a private conversation with President Biden to say the polls are indicating that you cannot beat Trump.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Chuck Schumer is also did not deny that they had a similar conversation with Hakeem Jeffries weighing in. Now there's 21 Democrats who said that he should be somebody else should be the nominee. Adam Schiff, without Nancy Pelosi's blessing, would never have said what he said yesterday. And that is if Joe Biden is the nominee, we're going to lose the House and Senate. He fears the House and Senate as well as that. So something's got to be done. And he is defiant. I mean, Joe Biden's actually doing his job. Yeah. He's doing what George Bush does and John Kerry tried to do, and he's doing two or three events a day. He's doing interviews regularly. I assume somebody's running the country, even though he doesn't know the name of the Secretary of Defense.
Hunter's back at the White House.
He did not know his name as Secretary of Defense. Some black man. Yeah, and a black person he put on the Supreme Court. It's crazy. And he thinks the head of his Secret Service is a man. So, but he's actually trying to keep up this pace. And he's making regular mistakes, and then he is got COVID.
Well, that's what Don Jr. said last night. If you vote for Biden, who are you voting for? Who's running this country?
But who do they want to run?
It's not Joe Biden.
But Ainsley, who do you think they want to run against?
Well, there are also
they want to run against
Joe Biden. I think they'd rather run against Joe Biden.
100%. They've been building the infrastructure to run against Joe Biden for a couple of years.
Put Kamala in a debate with J.D. Vance.
Right, and it's
they will see.
Well, the Harris-Biden campaign, or Biden-Harris, however you want to say it at this point, because we don't know which one is going to be at the top of the ticket. They're making it seem as if J.D. Vance is afraid of Kamala Harris. Now, you guys may remember.
He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. He graduated
a few months
from Yale Law
ago,
School.
Kamala Harris, former communications director, said the one person that they're afraid most of is J.D. Vance to debate Kamala Harris.
Right.
Oh, so who said that? The Democrats?
The
last communications.
Here's what Brian Hughes just said, the Trump campaign senior advisor, on response to why don't you commit to a date to debate? He said, we don't know who the Democratic nominee for vice president is going to be, so we can't lock in a date before the convention. To do so would be unfair to Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Gretchen Whitmer, or whoever Kamala Harris picks as a running mate.
They know how to put gasoline on the fire.
So as you have all these top Democrats who are now telling the president, apparently to his face, Chuck Schumer went to Rehoboth last weekend and said, Mr. President, for the sake of the party, get out. And you got Hakeem Jeffries, and he said, listen, this is going to remain private, Mr. President, until it isn't.
Yeah, because now it's not. Because Jonathan Karl at ABC went over to Schumer's office to confirm the report.
Right.
They didn't even deny the report.
So what CNN reported yesterday was there's no indication he is changing his mind, but now he's listening to people who are saying things that he doesn't like. And apparently the three things that he is considering: polling, he's underwater. Cash, according to Katzenberg, it is drying up, and the states in play. And when you look at the swing state polls, Joe Biden is being beaten by the guy who could run up those stairs compared to him. And suddenly, it's looking a little dimmer for the Bidens.
So Reuters just did a poll, and it's only Trump by 3.
Yeah.
So that's what Biden's going to say. Look, what polls are you looking at?
Right.
I'm still in contention.
He actually did do that. He said, Nancy, I think your information's wrong. Look at these polls that I have.
But you cannot run for president if you don't have the people with very deep pockets digging out some cash. And right now, nobody is digging cash out for Joe.
I think they're just waiting to see what the final ticket will be, and then I'm sure they'll they'll pour a lot of money in behind it
because they don't want Trump.
They can't stand Trump.
As I continue to say, he's forgotten a lot of things, but he still knows that he's president, and he knows that no one can force him out. The question is, does he care about our legacy or not?
But he's going to get Social Security if he retires. Right?
Listen, I'm going to retire on the $1 that you are going to wind up paying in the next couple of weeks over our long
All right, let's talk about the.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And clip.
Cliche or meme among liberal pundits that the media is always claiming that, quote, Democrats are in disarray. It's one of those ways that liberal pundits claim, and I know it's hard to believe, but they really do believe that the media is biased against Democrats. In the age of Trump, it is unbelievable to me that longtime liberal activists and Democrats complain that the New York Times or other media outlets aren't anti-Trump enough, and that somehow this is a failure of journalism. And one of the ways they've complained is that media outlets always are talking about Democrats in disarray for decades. And it's sort of true, they has been a common theme, although this time it is not only undeniably accurate, but it's an understatement of what's going on in the Democratic Party, where you have a faction of the Democratic Party that since the debate happened has been increasingly in a drip by drip way daily, and escalating just a little bit the pressure they're putting on Joe Biden to get out of the race. But because Joe Biden was making clear, emphatically, categorically clear, that he will not leave the race, he told George Stephanopoulos only God Almighty could make him leave the race. And then between that, the fact that time was ticking, and then the Trump assassination attempt, it seemed as though there was sort of a acceptance on the part of Democratic elites that Biden was their candidate. But now, after the assassination of Trump throughout this entire week, the pressure has escalated severely from the top levels of the Democratic Party. It's getting more and more out in the open, although it's still being done in this cowardly way through leaks. And there are very few Democrats left, maybe Bernie and AOC and a couple others, who are still loyal to Joe Biden at the top level of the Democratic Party. Once the leaders start signaling it's time to do it, they're herd animals. They all then start doing it. They switch on a dime from what they've been saying for the last 3 years, which is there's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. He's more mentally adept and healthy than we've ever seen him be. He's engaged, all of that the media was saying as well. And then they all switched on a dime because they're never off script from one another. They just say what the other people they hear and that they know they're supposed to follow say, and then they all say the same things. And so now you have this desperation on the part of the Democratic Party, and they're almost being cruel to Joe Biden in the way that they're now leaking over and over, not just that they want him out, but claiming that he's going to make a big announcement on the weekend, that he is more open to leaving the race, that he's talking about whether Kamala can win. They're just constantly leaking anonymously, and the media just reports it, gives them anonymity to do it, which is a total abuse of anonymity. Anonymity is actually only supposed to be given in very rare cases by journalists. You're not supposed to quote people and hide who they are unless there's a real compelling reason to do it, like a whistleblower inside a government agency or a corporation who would lose their job or who would suffer severe consequences if you disclose their name. It's supposed to be rare. But all these crappy tabloids, glorified tabloids like Axios and Politico, these kind of DC gossip rags, give anonymity to anyone who asks because they want to keep their sources. And so they allow these Democratic operatives and Democratic officials to just manipulate the media, manipulate the public while hiding who they are. And this is the kind of thing that the top leadership of the Democratic Party has been doing over the last couple of weeks now. They leak that Nancy Pelosi wants Joe Biden out, that Chuck Schumer wants Joe Biden out, that Barack Obama wants Joe Biden out, but then you go to Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Obama, and they all lie. And they say, no, this is Joe Biden's decision to make. I haven't been pressuring him in any way. So here from Axios today, behind the curtains, top Democrats now believe Joe Biden will leave the race. Quote, several top Democrats privately tell us the rising pressure of party congressional leaders and close friends will persuade President Biden to decide to drop out of the presidential race as soon as this weekend. The 81-year-old president, now self-isolating with COVID, remains publicly dug in, but privately he's resigned to mounting pressures, bad polls, and unattainable scrutiny, making it impossible to continue his campaign, the Democrats tell us. Noting that's not coming from Biden or his camp, that's coming from the Democrats who want to force him out. And they're just saying, yeah, he's close to leaving the race. He's probably going to do it this weekend. Quote, his choice is to be one of history's heroes or to be sure of the fact that there'll never be a Biden presidential library, one of the president's close friends told us. I pray that he does the right thing. He's headed that way. For a long time, it was just major billionaire donors inside the Democratic Party threatening to deny him the funding he needs to run a presidential race if he doesn't leave. Now it's his close scumbag friends threatening him that he will never have a presidential library, that he will be a disgraced figure in history if he doesn't do what he's told and get out of the race. And then they're sort of using the carrot as well and saying, if you do get out of the race, we will turn you into a hero of epic proportions. But you'll notice none of these people are willing to go on the record. So you have no idea if it's true. They could be completely lying, making up that Joe Biden's about to leave the race just to turn up the heat. And you see that these media outlets are all giving them anonymity. They're all like little rats crawling around in a sewer in the dark, doing their little dirty work. And the media is helping to protect who they are. And they're helping to protect this deceit that you go to these people like Obama, Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the outlets that know they're the ones who are leaking this, allow them to lie and say Nancy Pelosi denied any of this is happening. And these media outlets know it's false because they're the ones giving anonymity to Pelosi and her close aides to publish this all in the first place. It's not anything remotely resembling journalism. It's pure activism because they want Biden out of the race as well, because they want more than anything else to ensure Donald Trump doesn't win, and they believe getting Biden out of the race is their only chance. Here from AP News, and this is from today, Biden is located at home as Obama, Pelosi, and other Democrats push for him to reconsider the 2024 race. The reporting of the story is based in part on almost information from almost a dozen people, all of whom insisted on anonymity to discuss sensitive private deliberations. Why would you give anonymity to people to say they want Biden out of the race? Why don't you force them to go on the record and say it? Why is anonymity merited here? There's no chance that they're going to be punished, that their lives are going to be ruined. These are politicians. They should be on the record. Instead, they're cowards with the help of these media outlets. Quote, the Washington Post first reported on Obama's involvement. In Congress, Democratic lawmakers have begun having private conversations about lining up behind Vice President Kamala Harris as an alternative. One lawmaker said Biden's own advisors are unable to reach a unanimous recommendation about what he should do. More in Congress are considering joining the others who have called for Biden to drop out. Obama has conveyed to allies that Biden needs to consider the viability of his campaign, but has also made clear that the decision is one Biden needs to make. The former president has taken calls in recent days from members of congressional leadership, Democratic governors, and key donors to discuss their concerns about his former vice president. Biden said Monday he hadn't spoken to Obama in a couple of weeks. Campaign officials said Biden was even more committed to staying in the race than ever as the calls for him to go mounted. And senior West Wing aides have had no internal discussions or conversations with the president about Biden dropping out. So you see what's going on? Nancy Pelosi, Obama, and Chuck Schumer, the rest, are going to the media and lying and saying Biden's going to make a decision as recently as this week. We believe that he is accepting the fact that he has to leave. It's just a question of time. But then Biden's closest aides in the White House, to whom he listens, are telling these media outlets this is a total lie. Biden has no intention of leaving. In fact, he's getting angrier and angrier about what Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi are doing to him. And it's making it less likely that he will leave, not more likely. Here's CNN from Wednesday, quote, Pelosi privately told Biden that polls show he cannot win and will take down the House. Biden responded with defensiveness. Now, obviously, how would they know this unless Nancy Pelosi went and told the media or dispatched somebody to do so? What Nancy Pelosi said to Joe Biden and how Biden responded. It obviously is not Biden leaking this. Quote, the president responded to Pelosi by pushing back, telling Pelosi he had seen polls that indicate he can win, one source said. Another one of the sources described Biden as getting defensive about the polls. At one point, Pelosi asked Mike Donilon, Biden's longtime advisor, to get on the line to talk over the data. While the exact date of the conversation was not clear, one source described it as being within the last week. Pelosi made waves when she said in an interview last week, quote, it's up to the president to decide if he's going to run. We're encouraging him to make that decision because time is running out. Now, time is running short. Now, obviously, Joe Biden has made that decision. He's made it repeatedly. He's always said, I'm not leaving the race. There's no chance. The discussion is over. My decision is made. And then Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats keep going into the media and pretending that that never happened and saying, we hope President Biden makes a decision shortly. Just pretending that he hasn't decided because they obviously are trying to push him out of the race. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi is 84 years old. She's not the Speaker of the House any longer, but it's sort of ironic that you have 84-year-old Nancy Pelosi and 85-year-old James Clyburn and other people like that all in charge of pushing out someone actually younger than them. Joe Biden on the grounds that he's too old to serve. Here from the Wall Street Journal, this is yesterday, Pelosi's office slams the, quote, feeding frenzy from the press. Nancy Pelosi is so angry that there's a feeding frenzy from the press when, of course, she's the one who's inciting it all. Quote, after several outlets reported that former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told President Biden that polls show his candidacy would hurt down-ballot Democrats, a representative for Pelosi said that reports misrepresented, quote, any conversations the speaker may have had with the president. The statement also slammed, quote, the feeding frenzy from the press based on anonymous sources. The Wall Street Journal hasn't independently verified the reporting. She's the one using anonymous sources to put all this pressure on Biden. The media knows this, and then they allow her to lie and say she's angry about anonymous sources in the feeding frenzy. Quote, Speaker Pelosi respects the confidentiality of her meetings and conversations with the President of the United States, Pelosi's representative said Thursday. Now, my view after the debate was that there was no chance Biden would voluntarily leave the race. I actually did a live stream the night of the debate. I watched it earlier today, and I confirmed that that's what my main point was that, look, Joe Biden has been chasing this presidency and the power and title that goes with it for his entire life. The idea that he's just going to voluntarily give it up when he finally got hold of it after trying for decades seems very contrary to the character of these politicians. Like he's going to just like sacrifice himself and his lifelong dream of being at the center of power in the White House for the good of the country, as though Joe Biden has ever self-sacrificed for the good of anything other than himself. But then when I saw just how intense and building and continuous the campaign to force him out was from Democratic pundits and media outlets who have long been his biggest allies, and now the very top leadership of the Democratic Party, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer, I guess I started believing the reports that Biden was getting softer. He was open to the idea that he had to leave, that he's on his way to making a decision, maybe as soon as this weekend, to lead the race. But Biden and his allies are back to pushing back as strong as they can on this claim, leaving it very uncertain exactly what's happening here. Here's Senator Chris Coons. He is a Democrat from Delaware, which is Biden's home state, very close to Joe Biden. And he said this earlier, quote, I fully support the president. He told me he's in it to win it. I'm with him 100% because I know he can beat Trump just like he did last time. Here is a video with Chris Coons where he went on CNN a couple days ago, and this is what he said.
Look, when I was on a call with him, with all the campaign co-chairs, I think this was a week ago, Saturday now, one of the things he said was, give it to me straight, folks. One of the co-chairs started by talking about how great his record is, how much he's accomplished as president. And he said, that's great. Thank you. That's not what we're here to talk about. I need to hear input. I read to him 2 texts that I'd received, one from someone well known to both of us, a longtime close friend and supporter, and someone who I've known for decades. One saying, keep at it, go fight Joe, we've got your back. And the other saying, please, Chris, make sure you tell Joe Biden he needs to drop out. I'm also 81. I know that he can't do it. He's not up to it. And someone else needs to carry the ball forward. I have shared that with him. Others have shared that with him. His innermost team that spent almost 2 hours with the Democratic caucus conveyed to the president the concerns raised by many of my colleagues.
And now here he is 2 days later saying Biden is not dropping out. I'm with him 100%. AOC gave an hour-long rambling, half Valley Girl, half fake street talk accent that she uses. And she just covered all sorts of things that aren't worth paying any attention to. But one of the points she made, I don't even know when the last time this has happened, but I not only agree with it, but I think it's an important point that she made. She and Bernie have been the leaders, bizarrely, in being the most loyal to Biden, saying Biden should not drop out, pushing back against the quote elites in the Democratic Party that want him to drop out, saying he's our candidate, he should stay. And that's still AOC's position and still Bernie Sanders' position. And here she is last night making a point about this campaign of anonymous people to try and drive Joe Biden out of the race.
So what I see right now, and I want you all to know, is that over the last several weeks, there have been lots of Democrats who have been giving little anonymous quotes to the press, to some journalists, to print. And I'm not here to knock the press on it. I'm here to knock my colleagues on it. Because to me, I think that's, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it because it's after midnight, that's bullshit. Like, if you have an opinion, say it with your chest and say it in public. But the idea that you are an elected official and you are supposed to be responsible for a community and you're just going to like text some journalist on the low and say, this is what I think, but don't put my name next to it. What are you here to do? If that's your opinion and if that's what you think is best for the country, put your name on it, okay? But instead, it's all this little pick a little, talk a little to whatever, texting some pundit about what they think because they're too cowardly to like come out with a public opinion. I'm not coming for the people who have made a public statement and put their name on it. Like, Lord knows I've done plenty of that myself. I'm talking about people who are too scared to say what they want to say in public, but somehow not afraid to say what they want to say to a journalist so long as they promise not to use their name. That's a bunch of horse shit. And then there was recently a quote unquote senior Democratic leader that said, I'm just resigning myself to a Trump victory. Leave your seat. Leave.
God, it's amazing. Even when I agree with like 90% of what AOC is saying, I just that like ping very close to exceeding my ability to listen to her speak. But I have to say, she has a point, and it's a point I've made many, many times over many years. It is a pathetic, cowardly thing to do if you are elected to high office in Washington, to the Congress, to the Senate, and you're too much of a coward to say what you think on the record, and you keep doing this little dirty work with your friends in the media, texting them and saying, don't tell anyone it was me who said it, but you can quote me off the record or anonymously. Again, I do criticize the media heavily for that, but also imagine what a coward you have to be to do that. Oftentimes just to be like snotty, and they issue this like catty insults, and Politico and Axios give them an anonymity to do that, which is even worse. But to engage in this campaign where they're trying to drive the president, the sitting president, out of the race against his will, and for all the flaws in the Democratic nominating process, which we've covered, the process they chose was one that resulted in Joe Biden being chosen by the voters who were allowed to vote, the tens of millions, as their nominee. And polls showed overwhelmingly that Democratic voters wanted Biden. Maybe that would have changed if the Democrats allowed a real nominating process and they had debates. But that was what Democrats were saying. And typically that's what a party wants, is to nominate the incumbent, though not always. I do think it's pathetic. It is. It's sickening, actually. It's so cowardly. And I agree with AOC strongly there that, if you have something to say, if you want to weigh in on this debate, weigh in with your name. Now, again, I think anonymity is appropriate for powerless people when they come forward with exposing crimes or wrongdoing or lies against powerful people, and they could be in jeopardy if their identity is known. That's not the case here at all. These are journalists abusing anonymity to get scoops and to serve their sources and make sure that these sources stay as their friends. Now, as I said, we saw for a while the Biden administration, the Biden White House, Joe Biden himself, just making unambiguously clear that he's not going anywhere. And then for a while we were hearing these reports, no, now he's different, he's softening up, he's getting ready to leave. But his top aides in the White House are not only continuing to deny that, but are heaping scorn on those who are doing this. Andrew Bates, we could put his Twitter bio up, as the White House senior deputy press secretary and a deputy assistant to the president. So he's basically there to just be a propagandist for the president. That's his job. And he's someone who works in the White House, and he has spent days on Twitter denying claims from his fellow Democrats that Joe Biden is leaving the race. Here today, Politico posted, the Biden inner circle says, quote, it's moment to moment as defections grow. And he just denies that and says that's not true. Keep the faith. Here's a tweet that he retweeted today from MG Lee, who's a reporter, I believe, with CNN. And she published this article, quote, new, the most senior West Wing advisors to the president say they have had no discussions amongst themselves or with President Biden about the president dropping out of the race. So absolutely denying vehemently all these leaks coming from top Democrats. He retweeted that as well. And then here is another retweet or another tweet from Andrew Bates. There's a headline, quote, Biden to make major announcement in coming days, says The Hill. And then he just says no. So right now, you have what appears to be a dirty campaign of disinformation and lying by top Democratic leaders, aided by their friends in the media, to protect them and allow them to lie, to leak continuously things that may not even be true. And then when they're asked on the record if they're doing it, not only deny it, but let Nancy Pelosi say she's so offended by leaks and the feeding frenzy when she's so obviously behind it all. How do you let a major political figure knowingly lie that way, publish her leaks, and then allow her in public to say she's sickened and angered by the leaks, or to say she's disgusted by the feeding frenzy when she's the one who's most feeding it? But that's exactly what's going on. Maybe Biden will end up dropping out because he's sick now. He's with COVID, although he's supposedly getting better. And he has these lifelong friends who are just heaping scorn on him and trying to do everything possible, these dirty campaign to get him out. But also Joe Biden is very stubborn. And it is very possible that he conceives himself not as a byproduct of the Democratic elite, even though that's what he is, but this sort of man of the people, and he's fighting the Democratic elites on behalf of the voters that he wants. And it's very possible that this campaign will actually fortify his determination to stay in the race.
President Biden says he's going back on the campaign trail, even as more Democrats are urging him to drop out of the race. And today, former President Donald Trump will hold a rally in Michigan alongside his new running mate, J.D. Vance. CBS 2's Bradley Blackburn has more from the newsroom.
Doug Elaine, yesterday, a Biden campaign official acknowledged in a memo that the campaign, quote, has our work cut out for us to win in November. A CBS News poll this week showed President Biden falling further behind former President Trump, 47 to 52. But the president is again signaling he's not dropping out. While he remains in his Delaware beach house recovering from COVID, President Biden says he's not staying there for long. In his statement Friday, he said, "I look forward to getting back on the campaign trail next week." It's a sign he's digging in, even as more Democrats try to drive him out of the race for re-election, concerned he can't beat former President Trump and could drag down other candidates. More than 30 congressional Democrats are now calling for Biden to drop out. The pressure campaign even extending to TV.
Pass the torch, Joe.
Pass the torch.
Longtime allies suggest the president is now considering the question.
I think our president is weighing what he should weigh, which is who is the best candidate to win in November.
But the Biden campaign insists he can win.
We have multiple pathways to victory, and we can do that by really reaching these voters.
Vice President Harris continues to campaign, but there's the question of what would happen if President Biden dropped out. Some Democrats are calling for an open convention to settle on a new candidate. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called that idea crazy.
They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
Meanwhile, former President Trump and his new running mate, J.D. Vance, are set to hold a rally Saturday in the key state of Michigan. Some supporters already lining up Friday night.
We'll be here for a good seat tomorrow.
The rally will be held inside an arena 1 week after the assassination attempt against former President Trump. There's no word yet on where President Biden would be campaigning next week. Democratic Party leaders, meanwhile, have settled on a plan to formally nominate him in a virtual roll call in early August. And Doug and Elaine, the Democratic convention is still a month away.
President Biden remains in isolation tonight, and not just because he has COVID-19. The list of Democrats calling for him to get out of the race grew longer today as California Representative Mark Takano added his name. Mr. Biden and those speaking publicly for him insist he's in it to stay. In today's daily medical update, presidential physician Kevin O'Connor said Mr. Biden's symptoms continue to improve steadily. The president was at his Delaware beach house, while at the White House, a group calling on him to pass the torch held a rally. Meanwhile, the new Republican ticket of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance is holding a rally this evening in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the first since the convention and Trump's first since the attempt on his life. Airports, hospitals, and offices are still trying to get systems fully online after yesterday's global tech outage. Microsoft put out new numbers saying that more than
Dozens of vulnerable Democrats are now calling on Biden to drop out of the race, fearing his support will affect them in their hotly contested down-ballot races. So let's take a look at who's pulling back from Joe Biden. These are the 34 congressional Democrats who have joined those calls, some of the most notable being Congressman Adam Schiff of California recently calling for Joe Biden to step aside. Also, Montana Senator John Tester yesterday and vulnerable Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown announced that he wants to see the end of the campaign for Joe Biden as president. Now, these are some of the Democrats who haven't yet joined those colleagues, but they could make a huge difference in the landscape given how competitive their reelection bids are. We're watching Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey, Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin, and Nevada Senator Jackie Rosen. All major swing state Democrats, and they would need to win in those states to secure the White House in November, both to maintain control of the Senate, try to win the House and to win the White House. Let's bring in Rich Lowry, editor-in-chief of National Review, to join us now. Rich, good morning. Thanks for getting up early with us this morning. I'm cataloging all these Democrats, Rich, that are starting to put their name on the list of those against Joe Biden. Do you think there's a breaking point? Is there one particular congressional Democrat that could make or break this decision for Joe Biden?
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. I think she's been the main driver here when it seemed as though Biden had stanched the bleeding a couple days after the debate by just saying, I'm not going, the elite's against me, forget it. She said, well, he hasn't decided yet, right? Which was her saying, you know what, Mr. President, you haven't decided until I decide that you've decided. So I think she kept this open. I think she's pushing it. I think she realizes he's a disaster. And the stages are, first they went Schumer, Pelosi, Jeffries privately to Biden and basically told him to go. Then they leaked. When he didn't go, then they leaked that they told him to go. And the next step is one of them going public. And that's when it really may be unsustainable. But I would expect, the frontline Democrats that you're talking about, all those dominoes seem to be falling. I mean, it's very notable. Sherrod Brown, no one's fool. You got to be pretty shrewd Democrat to survive in Ohio now, saying, look, Joe, this just isn't sustainable.
Well, Rich, even if Pelosi or Schumer or Jeffries goes public, that's the next card to play. And then reports are that Barack Obama is doing things behind the scenes. I think the question becomes, though, even with all of that, Rich, is it enough? Because it is Joe Biden's call. The reports are he gets sort of his hackles up. He gets upset if you push him. So can he withstand all this pressure?
I mean, if he wants to, in theory, yes, right? I mean, there's no lever. You can just say no. But this is a big game of chicken, and has been since the debate, with Biden saying, I'm just going to plow ahead. And if you want to kneecap me in public, you're just making your inevitable nominee weaker against Donald Trump, this guy you hate and fear. So you better just get on board because I'm plowing ahead. And then with the Democratic Party saying, you know what, even if you say you're still running, we're going to make it a worthless nomination for you because we're going to publicly condemn you. The fundraising is going to dry up. The activists are going away. So you can say you're still running, Joe, but it'd be worthless to you. And I do think the Democratic Party seems to be winning that game of chicken at the moment. This nomination is a wasting asset for him every single day. It gets just a little bit less valuable with every public condemnation and the reports that the fundraising is drying up.
So really quickly, I got to go, Rich, more likely prediction. Kamala Harris is the nominee for Democrats, or Joe Biden limps across with a defunded, unsupported presidential campaign?
As of this moment, I would bet on Kamala Harris.
All right, Rich Lowry.
Blame them, right? You cannot blame them.
I agree with you, by the way. They cannot skip over Harris because it would be a monumental admission that she wasn't qualified when they picked her in the first place. They have to go to Harris. They have to go to Harris.
But here's my question.
But let me tell you what you're going to. The idea that you're going to something a little better. I mean, if it's a little, it's by a smidge. I mean, her approval rating right now is about 38%. Not much different than Joe Biden, and she would be tied to the worst and most unpopular parts of the Biden agenda. Let me ask you guys a question. What about Kamala Harris's forays into presidential politics has convinced any of you that this would be anything other than a huge dumpster fire? When she ran for president, it was the literal worst. Her high water mark was...
I covered her in 2020.
It was awful. And now her vice presidency has been awful. What about this?
I covered her in 2020. It's ticket.
I feel like I need to take up for the president here.
Yes.
Because he won millions upon millions of votes.
Yes, he did.
To earn the Democratic nomination. And I just find it delicious that the party of democracy is now organizing a coup against the sitting president of the United
It's
States.
very telling that
It's
is the talking point, though, from Republicans.
Yeah,
they are sticking up for the democratic process.
Of course.
Right of voters but they want Joe Biden in this race. The Trump campaign wants Joe Biden in this race.
Despite what every time Karen and I are on TV, she says, well, I heard this was getting 5 points for Joe, but if everything you said was true, he'd be ahead 100-0. I mean, why is Donald Trump winning? Because Joe Biden has a terrible, terrible approval rating, A. So the results of the presidency are already, people lost confidence in that. And B, Now everybody knows he's not even capable of being president today, let alone for 4 more years. No Project 2025 malarkey is going to change any of that. The contours of the race are set.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about the Democrat Party civil war, which is my favorite topic, if you guys couldn't tell, because the Democrat Party is on a one-way trip towards destruction. And the reason why is because of Trump derangement. It's kind of funny to me because Democrats have made the argument for years that Republicans need to abandon Trump because Trump will destroy the Republican Party. Well, it turns out that Trump derangement is destroying the Democrat Party, right? Maybe if the Democrat Party wasn't so Trump deranged, they wouldn't be destroying themselves right now, which is essentially what they're doing, okay? Mutually assured destruction is happening in the Democrat Party because Democrats are coming out against Joe Biden one by one and saying that, hey, he needs to step down. And their argument for this is that, well, Biden can't beat Trump, okay? Biden can't beat Trump, according to them. So it went from vote for Joe Biden to save democracy to overthrow Joe Biden, stage a coup against Joe Biden to save democracy, right? You see how that works? Okay. If you vote for whatever puppet that the Democrats eventually place Joe Biden with, then you are a special kind of stupid, right? I'm here to tell you because quote unquote saving democracy has nothing to do with actually saving democracy, saving your right to vote or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with saving their power. Okay. So again, if you guys just replace democracy with Democrat power, it all makes sense. Okay. It went from vote for Joe Biden to save Democrat power, right? To now stage a coup against Joe Biden to save Democrat power. Now there are no contradictions, right? It all really makes sense because it's always been about power and control. And again, this is why Democrats are coming out in full force and calling for Joe Biden to step down while at the same time telling him that he can't beat Trump, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that because Democrats continue to say it, they're essentially making it highly unlikely that Joe Biden can beat Trump or less likely that Joe Biden can beat Trump because they've already let the genie out of the bottle and said that, hey, well, we don't have confidence in Joe Biden, right? We don't have confidence in him. So I'm not entirely sure how you can tell people to vote for Joe Biden if he chooses to stay in the race, okay? But again, Democrats, they're coming out in droves. And again, they are staging this coup against Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has dug in. And as of right now, he's not resigning, at least not yet.
There's no way to go now to say I considered. I mean, it's humiliating. There's no way around it if that's what happens. I mean, Abby, to that point, Democrats have done a really good job of shooting at their own nominee. A horrible reference. I shouldn't have used those words, but they have been. That's where the fire has been coming from. How much longer can it go on?
Well, if you're one of the Democrats who feels incredibly vulnerable right now electorally in terms of the fundraising, you want this to end in the next couple of days because the clock is ticking to the convention. That's really the time frame that people who want another nominee, they think that they have to get this done really in the next week in order to have a shot at a process going into the convention. But if you are Joe Biden, you think you actually need to just hold out until the convention when he becomes, actually not even then, they're going to have a roll call vote that would make him the official nominee in just a matter of a few days, actually. And I think Biden sees the timeline very differently. He sees between now and the convention as a relatively short period of time where he can push back on these calls. But for the Democrats who are in these tough races, the Sherrod Browns of the world, they really are putting on the pressure now because really this next week is a crucial window if it's going to be someone else.
Yeah, so you see now you heard that, okay? Most of the focus is on what Democrats in Congress want, okay? Which Democrats want Joe Biden to step down? Which Democrats want Joe Biden to stay, okay, as they stage a coup against the man, right, to get him out of office. But nobody's focused on what the voters want, okay? And when you actually talk to the voters, it seems as if they don't really know what they want, which in my opinion is the worst case scenario for the Democrats. And it's basically going to guarantee that there is a disaster if Democrats decide to move forward with this coup against Joe Biden and having an open convention, okay? In my opinion, it will be a disaster, right? It's like a slow-moving car crash is happening to the Democrat Party right now. And speaking of car crashes, you want to make sure that you have proper representation if you happen to get injured in a car crash or an accident. That is why the sponsor of this video is Morgan & Morgan. Guys, I've been injured in a motor vehicle accident. You've probably been injured in a motor vehicle accident or somebody that you know, okay? We all have somebody that we know, whether it be ourselves or somebody else, that has been injured. And sometimes that injury can be worth millions of dollars. And this is why the sponsor of today's video is Morgan & Morgan, who wants to let you know that they do not settle for lowball offers, because oftentimes that is exactly what insurance companies try to do to clients. But Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you the money that you deserve. All law firms are not the same, and Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They have won a lot, and it only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. And as America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan is ready and prepared to take on insurance companies of every size. If you are in an accident or injured in any way, you should know how to protect your rights. Don't overthink it. Take actions to protect your rights today, and Morgan & Morgan will fight for you to get you the compensation that you deserve. For example, they have achieved significant verdicts in the past couple of months for victims involved in life-altering car crashes. They had a $12 million settlement out. Get started.
Months ago, veteran pollster Frank Luntz sat down with a group of 17 voters who were undecided before last month's consequential debate between Biden and Trump. And a lot has happened since, admittedly. I wonder, are there any closer to making up their minds about who should lead the Democratic ticket?
Just to step aside, which I think is his choice, then Harris is next in line. I would hate to see that process circumvented.
I think we hear Kamala Harris. I don't know that she can win, though, which is sad.
I wish I could give you a name, but as well, I don't know.
Maybe Gavin Newsom, maybe.
I think their best chance at that would be Andy Bashir.
Wow.
Joining me now, Frank Luntz. This is not very good news if you are the Biden-Harris ticket, that they're not just undecided. They don't want anyone.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible news, right? It's absolutely terrible. Again, this is why an open convention is going to be a disaster, right? This is why I'm low-key, I'm hoping that they do this, right? I'm hoping they go through this whole process for multiple reasons, right? One, again, it's going to destroy the Democrat Party. Two, it's essentially going to make sure that any candidate that actually does survive and comes out as a nominee, they are going to have a hard time getting the support of all the salty individuals who are upset that their candidate wasn't chosen, right? The Kamala coalition, Joe Biden, if he unwillingly steps aside, if they legitimately make Joe Biden step aside without him actually wanting to do so, it's going to be an absolute disaster. And again, the main reason is because voters aren't even unified in who they want, which is a product of the Democrat Party not having a primary, right? This is the whole point of having a primary. If Democrats would have had a primary fair and square, like they should have, then this would be an issue. This would be an issue at all, because you would know who would be the best candidate to take over, at least considering who the people voted for, right? You would already know. But now you have a bunch of voters, undecided voters, who are saying, I don't know if Joe Biden should step down, but if he does step down, they have no clue who they should rally behind, right? No clue whatsoever. And again, the funny part about this is that all of this is happening because of Trump derangement. And Democrats now, they're going to have to double and triple down on it, because now they have to go out and tell people that, well, hey, you might not know who Andy Bashir is, or Josh Shapiro is, or Gretchen Whitmer is, or Gavin Newsom is, but, they're better than Trump. Trust us, right? Trump terrible, Trump bad, okay? This is what they're going to do. And I'm hoping that the American people don't fall for it, right? Because, again, as you just saw, clearly the voters have no clue who they want. A lot of them probably don't even know who these candidates are that the Democrats are going to put up. So the trust is not going to be there. But what they're going to do is that they're going to double and triple down on the derangement. What the media is going to do is that they're going to essentially pretend like the next Democrat Party nominee is like the second coming of Christ, right? This is what they're going to pretend like. They're going to have some coronation. They're going to say that he's the guy that can defeat Trump, or woman that can defeat Trump. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to pretend like he's God's gift to earth, right? And they're going to lie about his record. That's what they'll do. But I think in the process of getting to that point, the Democrat Party will be in such shambles that it won't matter, okay? Because they're all undecided, right?
is an Indian recipe. Yes. Because you are Indian. Yes. Okay. And I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go.
Black chop. No, I'm serious. Go figure. From a guy who spread the birthism lie against Barack Obama, saying he wasn't born in America and he wasn't a U.S. citizen. Of course, here's what he thinks of black jobs. I love his phrase, black jobs. It tells a lot about the man and about his character. Folks, I know what a black job is. It's a vice president of the United States. I know what a black job is. The first black president of America is Barack Obama.
Yep. Boulay was in there loving that. Kamala is not black. Asian and Indian, and her dad is Jamaican.
What we're going to cook today, is an Indian recipe. Yes. Because you are Indian. Yes. Okay. And I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president. Yeah. So we're both Indian, but actually we're both South Indian. Yes.
You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay. Thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people we're related already, so this is perfect. It's basically true.
She's a very light-skinned person, or slightly brown-skinned person, who went to an HBCU and so has a lot of other white folks, like Marky D or something. Half of the Backstreet Boys probably went to an HBCU. Why? Because it's cheaper. So did Rachel Dolezal. She went to one too. Okay? Just because you went out with Montel Jordan, Montel Williams, that don't make you black, okay? Okay? All right, Johnson? So no, that's not a black job. And the black jobs we were talking about are working class black jobs. And factually, those jobs have been declining ever since the 70s. And what coincides with that? Massive immigration. That's right. Because you didn't want to pay people more money. I'm not saying you love immigrants. You use them as the same way you use blacks. But once blacks start getting in the unions, once the whites wanted to push back against us getting in the unions, you had to go somewhere to get jobs. And instead of paying white people more money, you brought in a new crop of people that would do work for less. It's really not that hard to figure out. Those are the black jobs. But we had this conversation before. But see, I got a problem with people who won't call this out. They'll call out Amber Rose. She said she's not black. You got President of the United States bragging about Kamala Harris. Black job. First ever person of color vice president. And he's bragging. I would go there on Barack Obama, but we all know he's half white, half African. But my thing is, why is it okay to trash Amber Rose, but not okay to trash Biden? So Amber Rose ain't elected to nothing. She up there promoting her stuff. It's on her forehead. Why is she there? Same way Kanye was there. Same reason Kanye was there. Promote their wares. We got Joe Biden trying to push back on a valid argument about the impact of immigration on black folks. It would be different if they were trying to mitigate it. The only thing I would say to adjust my message on this is that, I'm not saying they favor immigrants, they just try to exploit them. It's something in it for them. America don't do nothing unless there's something in it for them. They're funding Israel because they want a strategic advantage in the Middle East. They're helping Ukraine because they want to stick it to Putin. It's not because they're benevolent and kind and saintly. That's not what America does. So for people to understand how we really don't give a damn, we're the country that sat back while Jews are being slaughtered in Nazi in Germany and was like, Good luck, Germans. We turned ships around. Not our problem. These are facts. But now all of a sudden, now you think, oh, we're the benevolent country. We're looking out for the brown people. Man, wake me up when you realize what's happening. Wake up. They've been throwing white kids into the armed service and having them lose their arms and limbs and minds in Middle East for the last 30 years. All because they couldn't afford to go to college to get a better education. Most of them went into the armed services because there's nothing there in the Midwest to do, because Biden and Clinton sent the jobs across seas on the NAFTA. But hey. So when we say we got more in common than we have not in common, I'm talking about the exploitation. Is that at the end of the day, the favorite color is green. When we gonna wake up and realize that, y'all? Arlene Chambers, black job is a real thing. Kamala and Obama are anomalies, not working class folks. Exactly. But you know what, Arlene? Give it up for Arlene. Here's the thing, man. And you know what? And I get that. You know what? I used to not know that. That sounds so bad. Once upon a time, I was the same way. I thought because I was in IT. So I came up, man, I don't have a college degree. I went to a community college for a little bit, took some classes. I had a friend who had a degree, who was in the computers, and I was out here struggling. And he's like, look, man, computers, like he kept telling me, computers. So I took classes, I took courses, I read a lot. And he told me, man, you got to do some on-the-job learning. Say you know it, but don't really know it. Run in the server room and figure it out. Call me up if you need help. I had a mentor that helped me get through the first couple of years. And once I kind of got good and I was comfortable and I was working for these companies, and I was making really good money, more money than my dad ever made, it became normal. But it wasn't normal. What I was doing wasn't normal. Meaning a lot of black folks are not in that position I was in. I would go places, there would be black people there telling me that. Like, how you get in here? Okay, bro, what's up, man? And I'm feeling all good about myself, not even truly letting it resonate that this is not common. Yes, I'm in D.C. In D.C., a lot of government contractors, a lot of government contract work, a lot of folks work at the government contract level and can make good money per hour. It's not that way all over the country. Okay, so to the black people that were so upset and so offended that Trump said black jobs, I want you to recognize this is a big country. Okay, we're not judged by what the top 10% get to do, and I was not in the top 10%, but I was doing better than the middle. Okay, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. I wanted to write, but I couldn't afford to write because you don't make nothing writing unless you got friends, unless you know people. The point of the matter is, guys, what I'm trying to say is, my cousins, my friends, they were good people. They deserve better than what they got. In the system, there was just so many slots, just so much. Most black people just weren't doing what I was doing. And instead of strutting around going, I got my degree, only 20 to 25% of black people get degrees, dumb. How is it going to be common that we are lawyers when I tell you 2% of male lawyers are black men, 2% of female lawyers are black women, 2. And you're like, somebody will get on TikTok, I got a black job and I'm a real estate. I got a black job and I'm an attorney. What about everybody else? So construction jobs, warehouse, manufacturing jobs, jobs at plants, all types of jobs. Anyway, it is what it is. Those that know, those that don't know will continue to be herded by the Democratic Party like sheep, and nothing will change. Hopefully, some people will listen, realize it's not hate. It's not saying black people can't achieve. It's saying the opportunities, discrimination, and a whole bunch of other shit has been holding us back for a long time. And not for nothing, a lot of white jobs left too. Just to slide that in there, just because I know it to be a fact. I know that to be a fact. Because corporations want the best bang for the pocket, best bang for the buck, to stretch the dollars. So that's what they do. And they'll hire someone else over you if they can pay them less, and they'll get the same job done. I mean, that's it, guys. Thank you, Arlene Chambers. I appreciate you for bringing.
Black Americans are really suffering financially underneath the Biden administration. Black Americans are having to make decisions to pay bills or to put food on the table. I've talked about many times before, when I go buy a couple of items at the store, I'm always paying close to $100 at the grocery store for items that did not cost that much a couple of years ago. And a lot of Black Americans are, stressed out over this. They are. And it just amazes me how you have Black people who can literally still support the Biden administration at this point. And we're suffering. All of us are suffering financially. Case in point, listen to these Black voters that's going to speak on this issue.
It's hard to think about the world and all of the other things that are going on when my pockets are hurting. My money is starting to not go as far as it used to be. So that's an issue that one of these two candidates should be able to address.
We have yet to see a president really focus on addressing the quality of life issues for communities of color.
I don't feel like I will ever be able to own a home.
I really just don't think that Black home ownership is really a priority.
I would like to buy a house. It is hard for me to buy a house still being a felon because a lot of the funding is from federal. And federal does not fund a lot of individuals that are still considered a felon.
We make the people that are struggling the most, we create the most difficult process for them to be able to get to the point where they can get ahead.
Everyone had the same assessment that they're struggling in the Biden economy. But let's get to the conversation of home ownership. The majority of Black Americans rent, and that has this economy has really put a squeeze on us because the jacking up the prices of rent. Only 44% of Black Americans are homeowners. The remainder are renters. If you were a homeowner, the advantages of that is that, yes, it may have some extra costs that come with being a homeowner. That's true. It do. But during the pandemic, homeowners got to get all kind of extra incentives because they were homeowners. They were stacking money. They have different home equity loans you can get. If you got equity in your home, you can actually sell that property later if you would like to get something else. Maybe you got enough money to get another home one day, and now you can maybe turn that into a rental property, Airbnb, something like that. Because once you get a home, the only way you can even get an 800 credit score, you got to get a mortgage and pay on that mortgage for you to get that 800 credit score normally to do that. When your credit score is that high, you can literally get any kind of loan, anything you want, use that credit score. Now, They're 100% right. They do not care about black home ownership. They don't care. And let me tell you something. The FHA program can actually get black Americans into homes, but they don't want to push that for black, even underneath a Democrat administration. You can pick a Democrat administration. They're not saying, hey, we need to get black Americans in homes through the FHA. FHA is guaranteed loans by the United States government. Biden right now could make a change to the FHA program that can get black Americans in homes. If Biden and Kamala actually cared about black Americans and their home ownership rates, this is all they got to say. Okay, what we're going to do is lower the debt to income ratio because the United States themselves are in debt. How are you going to punish people for having debt, but yet the government is in debt? So we're going to wipe away that debt to income ratio. We're going to take your rental history. We're going to look at what you've been paying, and we're going to see if you have been, consistent in your payments. You never missed a payment or nothing like that. Let's say within a year. Then at minimum, we want to get you into a home that have the same payment that your rent is because you can afford that, clearly. So let's find you a home that pays for that. They can find a home that pays for that, period. Somewhere within the United States, they can find a home. Even if you have to move to another city, you say, hey, at least I got me a house and it's affordable for, because if I'm going to rent, then I might as well buy. You know what I'm saying? The Biden administration or Democrats or Republicans don't care about black people owning homes because they don't want us to be have anything solidified for ourselves. Democrats and Republicans both agree they do not want to see black Americans come up. They don't want to see you business owners. They don't want to see you homeowners. That's not what they want. They don't want that. When you look at even when black people have homes, how many times that black people had to sue because appraisers come out and lower the value of their home, not because the home is jacked up or anything. No, just because a black person is in it. Homeowners had to deal with that mess. Black people try to sell their home and they want to lower the price on that because it's a black person. They had to go get a white person to sell their home and act like it's their house. And then, it makes the prices go up all of a sudden. I mean, they have this system so rigged against black people. It is wicked and criminal.
Salute, family.
Black people going to suffer as long as you keep renting like that. Or they jack up the rent, do this to the rent or whatever. And black folks becoming homeless. They want black folks to be at the bottom. And the way you keep black people at the bottom is you make them suffer in the hands of landlords. Let me tell you something. If the majority of black Americans were homeowners, let's say if it was 70 to 80%, we were homeowners, guess what would happen? The rent prices would drop. Why? Because if you don't have people renting, you got to drop the prices. You can't keep raising the prices up. That's the key to fixing the rent prices. But the Democrats, and I say Democrats, that's who black people vote for. That's who you're giving all your stock for. That's who you crash out for. You're willing to have the FBI come visit y'all behind talking crap for the Democrats. I mean, y'all have lived, some of y'all, not all, but some of y'all have become literally insane with these people. And yet you drive into an apartment. The Democrats even help you get a doggone house. That's what I'm saying. And black Americans all over the country are talking like this. They are. And the issue that I'm having is that why are we going to go and just give all our votes to Democrats when they don't even care about us like that? Now you say, well, Republicans don't care about us like that either. You're 100% right. I'm with you 2000%. The Republican Party don't care about black America like that. And I never told you go to the Republican Party. No, because the reason why I would never say go to the Republican Party and just go sit in their party is because they're going to say something that's going to either make you go at them or you're going to have to sell out. One of the two. You know, I could never go around them and say, well, America's not a racist country. That Tim Scott stuff. No, hell no. I'm going to say America was built on racism. It operates today on anti-black racism. And until y'all fix it, it's still going to operate on anti-black racism. It's built on economic sabotage of black America. I would tell that to their face. So I couldn't last with no Republican very long either. And I wouldn't last with Democrats too long either, because I could say some of that to them, but I'm gonna want them to do something about it at that point, because I'm like, we getting your votes, you know. So what's up? What are y'all gonna do about all of this? What's up with these reparations? Why black businesses are suffering? Where them Democrats, since you our friends, why don't you give us some low percentage SBA loans? Maybe 1 to 2% SBA loans or 0% to help our black businesses so we can do for ourselves. Did you know a $50,000 to $100,000 would be very beneficial to small business owners in our black communities? It would. They can really invest into their businesses and do different things. Democrats said they stopped playing games with giving people permits and all this craziness that happened to black businesses. There's a lot of things they can do without Congress right now. Biden can right now without Congress to help black people get in homes. He can do it, but he chooses not to, because remember, Biden said that he wants things to go back to the status quo. And the status quo is keeping us cemented at the bottom. Listen, the migrants that came in here yesterday is in a higher position than black Americans. You better believe that. And I don't care where the migrant came from, whether they came from Latin America, whether they came from Asian countries, whether they came from the Caribbean, the African continent, etc. But at the same time, even though the African and Caribbean people are migrants, they had a big protest with African immigrants in New York. And they were saying that Biden and them and the Democrats was giving all the money to the Latin American people and not giving them nothing. So see, at the end of the day, they going to be treated bad too. They're going to find out that at the end of the day, they look at you as black. You may have an accent. Some of you may want to sell out, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you're not them. And they're always going to prioritize lighter skin over the darker skin in this country. You better believe that. Black Americans should be focusing on home. And this is the crazy part. I didn't grow up in apartments. All my family in America, Port Arthur, had homes. So I'm trying to figure out what happened. I got to do some investigation about what happened. We all, even in a lot of our neighborhoods, they had black, when you say black, the black communities, there was homes. Okay. What happened with our people where we could not get homes? Because in the 80s, I grew up in a black neighborhood, 90s, etc. I didn't know what apartments was, so maybe later in life. It's better to have a home. And I know now they're doing tiny homes, they're doing all kind of things now, but we got to get ourselves from underneath renting and be homeowners. And the education, and this is the thing, y'all. We got to also want to look at the education aspect of it and watch things. A lot of times I could bring that information. I could bring people on here to realtors to teach y'all how to become homeowners, how to get around the system. But this is the biggest problem. When we do something like that for some of y'all don't want to watch it. And that's the sad part, is that some people ask, why don't y'all do this kind of content, that kind of content? Y'all don't want to watch it. I'm not saying all of you don't want to watch it, but the majority don't want to watch it. If you don't watch something and if you don't engage in content, then it lets the people know there's something you don't watch. It's kind of like, I remember when Cardi B talked about that. She said when she tried to talk about other stuff outside of her private parts, they didn't want to hear it. So you say, okay, I'm gonna keep talking about my private parts and shaking my butt and everything else. That's what you want to hear. That's good. So you talk about content a lot of times. Y'all dictate the content. Y'all do it. Sometimes we got to do things to get education, maybe financial education or whatever, because we wasn't taught anything as black people. Only thing we know is to survive. We wasn't taught how to thrive. We always got to learn, there's so much mistakes I've made trying to do things in business that I wish I would have known from a child or a teenager. Them folks teach their kids how to thrive in business early. That's why they get so far ahead. We got to learn the hard way and play catch up as black Americans. But as long as we keep renting, we always going to be victim to rent hikes. Always. And that's part of the things that we got to focus on. Now, when Biden had his Lift Every Voice plan, he said he was going to give $15,000 in down payment assistance for black folk. We never saw it. This man been in office almost 4 years, and we never saw it. We need to go back and read and look at that, if it's still even on the web. Go look at that plan, what he said he was going to do for black folk, right? That's why, see, I read that Lift Every Voice plan. A lot of you didn't. He didn't do a thing for black Americans. And maybe we do need to revisit that Lift Every Voice plan and go through it one more time so y'all can see what he said he was going to do back then and look at today. He didn't have in that Lift Every Voice plan, hey, well, when you vote for me, I'm going to give the Asians a hate crime bill. He didn't say that to y'all. He had y'all thinking that he was going to do a police accountability commission and a George Floyd bill and all that, and John Lewis voting bill. None of that happened. But personally, I knew Biden what he was. Biden has been a doggone racist from the beginning. But y'all rather go with him. Y'all say Trump's the racist. Trump is Hitler, some of y'all. I'm like, but yet Biden actually done things to us that you can look at on paper. I'm just saying, I never understand that. If anything, beyond with you, if anything, I would expect you to take the couch and not give your vote to now one of them. If you really want to base it on how some of y'all feel. But yeah, my people stay suffering, man. And until black people realize it, that we participate in our suffering, yes, we do. When we don't sit up here and hold the Democrats accountable for what they do, when we keep giving them our vote, we're co-signing what they're doing. And they say, well, shoot, we ain't got to do nothing for them. I mean, they're going to give me a vote for me anyway. So why should I do something for them? I'm going to want to get the votes for people that's going to force me to do something for them. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what it is. The Democrats feel like they don't have to do nothing because you're going to vote for me anyway. Because all I got to tell you, that dude racist. That's all I got to tell you. And you're going to just, oh my God, yeah, he's racist. And boom, vote straight ticket Democrat. Even ADOS still had you doing that. What did ADOS tell you in 2020? Leave the top of the ticket blank and vote down ballot Democrat. So basically, you still a Democrat. Even if you followed exactly what they said to do, down ballot Democrat, really? If you so-called fighting for reparations, it shouldn't be no down ballot Democrat at all. It's like, well, who gonna have a policy? Why? That's been our problem. Straight ticket voting. That's dumb. So you can have a guy who could be a Democrat and can be an anti-black racist, but hey, vote for him because he's blue, right? Vote blue no matter who. And this is why ADOS really went into not being relevant anymore because of the 2020 election. If you think about it, prior to that, they had a little stroke with them, but that election tanked them because they told people to go vote down ballot Democrat, and look what happened. Look what happened to that. That's why people start saying they're political Democrat operatives. Why would you tell somebody that and you fighting for reparations? But anyway, we got to do something different, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go from home on, like my grandparents on both sides had their own homes. My great grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, they didn't live in apartments. They had their own homes and they were not rich. I didn't come from a rich family. Not at all. If you knew where I come from in Port Arthur, that's why I work the way I work now. Because I wanted to say, you know what? I love my family. I love what they done for me. But you know what? They walked so I could run. And I've always said that, God, if you give me the health and strength, I'm going to work and I'm going to do good and make my family proud. Make my ancestors proud. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Period. And I can care less if somebody condemn me and thinking, oh, you this and you that, man. You don't know where I come from. You don't know what I went through. You don't know how I grew up. I had to wear the same clothes at times. I couldn't afford to get a haircut at times. I had to eat the same food at times or ramen noodles at times, man, because times were hard. So I'm a man. I'm going to make sure my kids don't have to go through nothing like that. I got to make my family proud. So what I would say to Black America, we just got to just change our focus. We got to get our focus on home ownership. We got to get our focus on business creation as a people. We got to get our focus on family creation as a people, because we have way too many single parent households. We need to have the family back together again. There's been so many blended families in the Black community. They've been doing that. That's nothing new. But we have to do that, folks. Home ownership, business creation, family creation. That is the nucleus of any group of people, and also having God in your life and some morality. You put those four in there, and we can take it, like our families used to. Because what's going on today ain't it. It's not, and I say it ain't for a reason. It ain't it. It's not working. Clearly, we're suffering more today than my grandparents suffered, even in their time period financially.
Joe Biden has made a promise of what he will do his first 100 days in office. And we're going to get into this because I have some laughs and I have some things to debunk. Shout out to Simon Ataba for writing all of this down so that you don't have to. Breaking, your reaction, defiant and upbeat President Biden lays out the first 100 days of his second term. Restore Roe v. Wade, make it law of the land. Sign the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. Expand and strengthen Social Security and Medicare. End medical debt and ensure medical debt can no longer be put on credit reports. Raise the federal minimum wage. Some of these will sound like repeats to you because he's made these promises before. Pass the PRO Act to end union busting. Ban assault weapons again. Continue leading the world on climate and clean energy. Make the child care tax cut permanent. Could have done that the first time, but okay. Ensure no senior pays more than $2,000 a year for prescription drugs starting in 2025. Extend the $35 insulin cap for seniors to all Americans. Make housing more affordable by building 2 million housing units and capping rent increases at 5% a year. End Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy and corporations. Ensure no one making less than $400,000 pays more in federal taxes. Impose a minimum 25% income tax on billionaires. Generate $500 billion in revenue over 10 years to fund child care, elder care, and reduce the federal deficit. This is the speech here in Michigan, in a state where he really does need to win in order to win the presidential election. Let's get into this.
So today I'm going to start by laying out the first 100 days of my second term. And here it is. The first bill I'm going to introduce will restore Roe v. Wade to make it the law of the land.
Let's pause there, Roe v. Wade. Now, what's the problem with this one?
Disgusting.
Let's see. When Barack Obama ran, he said it would be the first thing that he would do, and he won and changed his mind and blamed it on Lieberman. Could have easily abolished the filibuster. Dems have kicked this can down the road for quite some time, right? He is president right now. Joe Biden is president right now. So there's just a number of things that could have been done. The Democrats, they delayed this, and I felt like they delayed it on purpose. Let's continue.
I will sign the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
Why can't you sign it now? Why can't you sign it now? So you see, some of these promises, like the Voting Rights Act, this was a promise that Joe Biden made before, but it hasn't been done.
We're not only going to stop Trump and the MAGA Republicans from cutting Social Security and Medicare, we'll expand and strengthen Social Security and Medicare. And here's how we're going to.
He could have already done that. Social Security and Medicare. Remember, Joe Biden is still on record on video saying that he wanted to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. And people can say, well, he changed over time, whatever it is, what it is. But Joe Biden has been in office all this time. So when he did make certain, changes to healthcare, like the insulin cap, he could have already done this. And that doesn't even go far enough because, as I said before, Joe Biden continues to tell you that if the bill for Medicare for all comes across his desk, he will veto it. Joe Biden doesn't want everyone in this country to have health care. He wants to continue to give you crumbs. So expanding Social Security and expanding Medicare, those are not the same things as implementing Medicare for all. This is important that people need to understand. Now, AOC is saying the same thing, by the way. She's like, I'm going to work with President Biden to expand Medicare. Notice how they've fallen back now, even some of the squad members. No more Medicare for all. It's expand Medicare. That could have already been done. Let's continue.
To do it. Press always asks how. Listen, press, by making the rich pay their fair share of Social Security. And we're gonna end medical debt. By that I mean we've already made sure medical debt can no longer be put on your credit report.
Could have already done that. And I think that should happen. I think we should end medical debt. I know a lot of people that are in debt, not because of credit cards, but because they had enormous hospital bills that they couldn't pay. Things they didn't really sign up for, but they had emergency, like things happen and their insurance didn't cover everything. And you can have like a monthly payment plan, but I mean, how much does it cost to have a baby in this country, for example? So here we go again. Something that could have already been done. Let's continue.
You can wipe out medical debt for pennies on the dollar. We're going to raise the federal minimum wage.
Problem. Didn't he promise that last time? And how did that go? Remember, the Senate voted against it. And you know what was really bad about that? I expected Republicans to vote against it. I did not expect Democrats to vote against it. And so that was the other thing, is that there were 8 senators that voted against it. 7 of them were Democrats and 1 was an independent. And of course, the Republicans voted against it. So here is Joe Biden again making another promise to increase the federal minimum wage when it failed last time. I mean, it's disgusting. Like, he's telling you things that you want to hear so that you'll come out and vote for him. But the reality is the reality is Biden is making some of the same mistakes that Bernie Sanders made, where they made all these promises, but they left out that in order to get these things passed, it has to pass in the Senate. So here he is again, lying to people, saying, I'm going to raise the federal minimum wage when he knows that the Senate voted against it last time. It's just stuff like this. You can't make these promises to poor people. You can't make these promises to working class people. A lot of the people in Michigan are working class people.
We're going to pass the PRO Act, ending union busting once and for all. And I'm going to ban assault weapons again. I did it once, I'm going to do it again.
Now, it's interesting that this speech was made before the attempted assassination on Donald Trump, banning the assault weapons.
We're going to keep leading the world. We are on climate and clean energy. When I signed the American Rescue Plan, the law expanded child care tax credit to cut child poverty in half in America, and it did. Republicans let it expire. I'm going to make child care tax cut permanent.
There he goes again, making promises that he can't fulfill. So let's talk about the child tax credit. Yes, that passed. And then they said, we cut child poverty in half. And I said, you can eliminate all child poverty in this country if we decrease that defense budget. If we stop sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, no child in this country should be hungry. No child in this country should go hungry at all. We are one of the wealthiest countries in the world. It doesn't make any sense. So there's that. The other one that he said, the climate reform. How are you going to become more aggressive about climate reform and you approve the Willow Act? You're still approving new drilling permits when he promised you in 2020 that he wouldn't. So there's a lot of lies that are being told here, ladies and gentlemen, and the crowd that is behind him, they're falling for it. And the reality is a lot of voters will fall for it. A lot of voters aren't going to sit there. They don't have time to do it. Aren't going to sit there and say, wait a minute, didn't he make that promise before? A lot of people are just now tuning into electoral politics. Most people don't tune in until we get closer and closer to the election. And a lot of people haven't looked at, oh, didn't he make these comments before? So just, again, you cannot continue to lie to working class people.
And by the way, it increases economic growth, doesn't increase the deficit. People can work when you have child. No, I'm serious. That's the deal. We capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35, totally cost.
It should have been capped for everyone. It should have been capped for everyone. You know, I mean, it's not just seniors that are diabetic. That was the other thing.
And no senior beginning in 2025 is going to have to pay more than $2,000 a year for all their prescription drugs, including cancer drugs that are $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year. And my second term, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make that same plan available for every single American. Again, saving the federal government hundreds of billions of dollars over time. We're going to make housing more affordable. That means taking on corporate greed and getting the rents down. We're going to build 2 million housing units and cap rent increases of 5% a year so corporate landlords can no longer gouge everyone like they're doing.
Let's talk about the housing initiative, because this is where a lot of people, they buy into this when they hear the phrase affordable housing. Affordable housing can mean different things in different places. Affordable housing in Boston also includes the average income of towns in New Hampshire. It's not just the income that's in Boston. It's an entire area, which includes the southern part of New Hampshire. So what happens is that you have people that are in suburban communities where their income, they usually make more money or can afford to make, can afford to buy a house. Their income is now included with the income of people who are working at places like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, with people who are, lower income. So that means that the affordable housing price is now not really affordable to a lot of working class people. There are affordable apartments in Boston listed on Boston City website that are qualified and identified as affordable housing, but some of those apartments are like $4,000 a month. I don't know about you, but I can't pay $4,000 a month for an apartment, and I don't even work at Dunkin'. So this is I want to be very clear, people. Affordable housing is misleading. It's based on the median income of a surrounding area, not just in the city, not just one neighborhood. So we have to get away from this phrase of affordable housing, and we have to guarantee housing for all. That's what we have to do. So you got to be careful with that. Let's continue.
We can do this. We're going to end Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy and the corporations to make the tax code fair. I kept my commitment. I think a lot of you thought, why is Biden doing what he said?
You could have stopped Trump's tax cuts the entire time that you have been in office. And I said this to people time and time again, that Joe Biden He continued some of the same tax cuts for wealthy people that Donald Trump did. Now him and Kamala Harris are running around the country telling people, hey, we're going to make the wealthy pay their fair share. You could have done that all along. So guys, do you see this game? You see the game that they play? They've been in office all these years. This could have already been accomplished. So it's just a way to get you to come back out and support them.
Which is, no one making less than $400,000 will pay a penny more in federal taxes. I don't know many people making $400,000. In my neighborhood, no one did. But I want to be clear that I wasn't going to be taxing anyone who was a working man or anything close to it.
Wow.
But here's what they're going to do. They're going to make billionaires. We have 1,000 in America since the pandemic. Pay a minimum tax of 25%. You know what? By the way,
that could have already been done.
You know what they pay now? A billionaire's federal tax is 8.2%. Not a joke. I'm not making this up. Because no billionaire should pay a lower tax rate than a teacher, a firefighter, a nurse. It's ridiculous. That one thing alone would generate $500 billion in revenue over the next 10 years, allowing us to do more for child care, elder care, bring down federal deficit, do so much more.
So here's the thing here that I want to mention about the billionaires and all of that jazz, right? So yes, wealthy need to pay their fair share. They've been getting by. Jesus Christ. The fact that you had companies like Netflix and Amazon not paying any taxes is just absolutely ridiculous. That being said, Joe Biden has been in office since 2021. This could have happened already. This could have happened already. James says it here. He only has 5 months left in office. Right. He's not planning on doing any of these things before November. These are the things he's going to do in 2025 in the first 100 days that he says. But he's made some of these promises before. And I just don't want people to fall for this again. Look, I'm not going to be there with you when you go to vote. You're going to be by yourself. But the reality is we have to pay attention to what these candidates say and also what they do. I can understand if Joe Biden is not the incumbent, but he is. So people need to start asking these questions. Why didn't you do these things the entire time that you were in office? Some of the things that he could have done. Another one that I want to add, which I think is easy to do, which he can do by executive order, decriminalize marijuana. He can do that by executive order. Just him. That's an easy one. That's a layup, fam. Seriously, that's me passing you the ball and you doing a layup. Hasn't been done. Now he's been talking about it, but it's just, I don't want people to get their hopes up again and fall for this again. Because when you look at some of these goals that he mentioned here, it's just some of these things are easy, right? But you need to be careful about promising people that you're going to raise the federal minimum wage when you made that promise last time and it failed because of the Senate. And it wasn't just Republicans that stopped it. I reiterate that. There were Democrats that voted against it, including Coons, who is in Delaware, the credit card state. Surprise, surprise. Things like that. So some of this is hypocritical. Continuing to lead the world on climate and clean energy. You approve drilling, new drilling projects. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you're bombing people, you're not leading the world on climate and energy. We all know this. So I can't. It makes me want to scream. Like, seriously, be careful with the word affordable housing. I'll continue to tell you guys about that. I've interviewed a number of people on this show that have quote unquote affordable housing, and those people are barely making the rent, barely making the rent. And we talked about the tax cuts and everything as well. I want you to show you something Raquel said. Does Joe Biden understand that a poll showing him beating Trump 50-48 is a poll showing him losing the electoral college? Listen to this. This is something else that he said in Michigan.
probably noticed there's a lot of speculation lately. What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running, and we're going to win. I'm not going to change that. In fact, just today, the Marist poll released a national poll that has me beating Trump 50-48.
So there is this thing called the Electoral College. And I've been telling people the polls that you're seeing, that's the popular vote. Remember, Hillary Clinton was beating Trump with the popular vote, but she lost the Electoral College. These races come down to the swing states. And so what Joe Biden should be paying attention to is how he's polling in the swing states. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Like I said, I'm going on vacation this week. When I get back, I'm going to look at these polls. Because after this assassination attempt on Donald Trump, I would imagine his number's probably going to go through the roof. We'll get to that when I get to that story. But I would imagine that is coming. Now, I want to show you this as well, something else that Joe Biden needs to be aware of. Shout out to Professor Zinkus. Changes in voter registration. Pennsylvania has plus 9,000 Republicans, negative 240 Democrats, and plus 15,000 independents. And just look at the totals. Democrats are cooked. Let's go down to, so Professor Zinkus posted this before the assassination attempt. So I would imagine that number may change again for Pennsylvania. So we'll go down to Pennsylvania here and you'll see what he's talking about. That's plus 9,035 for Republican, negative 240 for the Democrats, and you have plus over 15,000 registered independents. It's not just Pennsylvania. You can see it happen. I don't know what the hell's going on in Rhode Island, because in Rhode Island, Rhode Island says negative 189 for Republicans and negative 2,796 for Democrats and plus 47. I want to see if there was another state on here that, Jesus Christ. See, guys, this is why you got to pay attention to this. Florida, I still always said was a red state anyway. Colorado, plus not over 900 registered Republicans, and Democrats plus 1,635. Delaware, I don't know what's going on in Delaware either. Iowa's an interesting one. Negative 2,286 Democrats, plus 12,659. So these are the kind of things that Joe Biden should be paying attention to, and maybe he is, and he just doesn't want to believe it. And then there's the donor issue. Donors are pulling away from Joe Biden's campaign. Listen to this.
Breaking this hour, New York Times reporting donors have told the largest pro-Biden super PAC that roughly $90 million in pledges are now frozen if Biden remains at the top of the ticket. But this may only be the beginning. Reports claim a coordinated Democratic rebellion is set to unfold during a brutal 48-hour stretch for Biden. An 18th Democrat lawmaker just called for Biden's exit 90 minutes ago. Now we're learning that President Biden privately met with White House Minority Leader Jeffries after his solo press conference last night, where he made several embarrassing mistakes on the world stage.
So the donors are pulling out, and that's always a big sign because you have to follow the money. So there's that. It's not looking good for Joe Biden. And after yesterday, it especially is not going to look good for the Democrats. Look, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent. I'm an old school Bernie supporter, squad supporter, and they let me down too. So it just, after a while, you just have to follow the money, and then you'll understand why these politicians vote the way that they do, why they sell the American people out, and where we're headed as a country. Very concerning. But that was Joe Biden there in Michigan making promises of his first 100 days in 2025.
I'm going to start with you.
You've heard the reporting, you've seen it. Sources saying that President Biden is seething tonight at former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, tying her to the latest round of Democratic defections, calling for him to suspend his campaign. When you hear that Pelosi and Schumer and others, 35 other or 35 Democrats are telling Biden to step down publicly, she's doing it in the background. Do you think this is a good idea, even though voters voted him in the primaries?
So let me answer your question directly. And I never thought I'd be saying this about somebody who I love and adore like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, both. I have a great deal of respect for them. I think Nancy Pelosi will go down as the greatest speaker in the history of American politics.
He had to shine her shoes real good before he make his move.
But they're committing political malpractice at best. And what at worst it is petty politics, local petty politics from California, et cetera, throwing itself onto the national stage.
It was not local politics from California. Chuck Schumer was from New York.
Look, I believe that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi probably know, not probably, they do know this American political system better than I. They know Joe better than I. But they also know that Joe Biden's not going to bow to public pressure at all. This man said he's in the race. And at the end of the day, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and others who, instead of rallying to the aid of Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden, are running to their local newspapers to write op-ed pieces, have done more damage to the president of the United States than he did to himself on June 27th. We'll right the ship. We'll get on board. Because at the end of the day, you only have three choices. I've said this for the past 6 months, and I think people are finally starting to pay attention to it. Heard my brother Charlemagne talking about it the other day, but you only got three choices in this race. You got Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and the couch.
Oh, man, y'all stole that from us, man. Now y'all taking it to prime time. Look at this, brother. The Greek freaks don't got no shame.
Choice.
I've been saying this and then Charlemagne. Man, you ain't Charlemagne swagger jacked us.
That's pretty stark. Natasha, so far in all this reporting, Nancy hasn't explicitly actually called for the president to drop out, but she has said you can't win, which the message is clear. What do you make of all of this talk and what it is doing to Joe Biden's candidacy and for the public, which if you look at the polling, the public isn't so sure that he should go forward, looking just directly at the polling when asked if he's capable of doing another 4 more years.
The poll that they don't want to hear.
Well, Sarah, I think that the voters I talk to feel that their voices are being drowned out. They feel that there are people who are somehow sort of being puppet masters above them and not really being practical about this moment. I did a piece about Black voters in particular who are very sober-minded. We're a very practical voting bloc.
Now, you see, these Greek freaks are all on here siding with Joe Biden to the end because it's not about Joe Biden, it's about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, they all tying their ticket to Kamala Harris for power. They are being promised no power. They know they went on TV until Brock got on them. Brock could tell them jump ship now, but they don't want to jump ship because Biden is promising them a better deal right now. That's serious.
And it feels as though there are a select group of people who are trying to force this story. There were a lot of people who, believe it or not, they thought the debate performance was disastrous, but they didn't think that that was the end of the campaign. They were still willing to vote for President Biden, concerned, disappointed, yes, but willing to vote for him, who listened to the substance of what he said. And I think it is so tragic that for the past few weeks, we've been talking about this without even thinking about some of the actual answers that Joe Biden gave, even if his voice was shaky, even if he was coughing. We never actually engaged in the policy. And so it's disappointing. I think it's done a lot of damage to the campaign. I agree with Bakari on that. And I think that time is running out. So as much as it makes for an interesting conversation, the practicality of this, it really undermines the argument that people are making about let's make a switch in the ninth hour.
Bakari, you know, in the battleground states, when you look at the numbers, you know, right after the RNC or during the RNC, Joe Biden lost some ground, according to the polls there. I mean, are Democrats, the ones that are coming out like this, just simply scared?
Yeah, I mean, I think you actually have a large amount of silent Democrats or silent voters. Usually it's the flip side. I remember in 2016, people were ashamed to tell pollsters that they were voting for Donald Trump. I think you have a lot of that today. But we have to, if we're going to be sober and honest about this, acknowledge that there has been some slippage with the president since 2020. But let me also explain to people why Joe Biden, because this doesn't get enough play. Let me explain to people why Joe Biden's actually the best person to run for president of the United States if you're a Democrat. Joe Biden has performed better with white voters, white women, white suburbs, white college-educated voters, 70% of the electorate. He's performed better than anybody since LBJ, right? And that's 70% of the electorate, and he's winning more than half of them. Barack Obama in 2012 won about 38% of those same voters, which means that in order for someone to win with that number of 38%, you have to have a turnout of Black voters and Black women and Hispanic voters and young voters that is just astronomical. And that's a heavy burden to bear. Joe Biden puts you in the best position. We just have to kind of, get in line. Republicans fall in love. Republicans fall in line. Democrats like to fall in love. I'm just trying to beat Donald Trump.
Natasha, I just quickly have to ask you to get your sort of quick, what do you think explains, though, that the peeling off of some particularly younger Black men to Donald Trump from Biden's side? And to be fair, since we are in the panel that we are in, and you can look at the color of our skin, there is always an impetus where Black voters are talked about a lot as if they are the deciders. And as Bakari has rightly pointed out, white voters are the majority at this point in this country.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Look, I need everyone to pick up a book called Steadfast Democrats and to understand that this conversation is actually not new. We often debate. We often hear the debate as a community about, well, why do we so frequently vote for the Democratic Party? What's behind that? There's strategy. There's a reason behind that. There were legislative wins for the Black community that came with this realignment with the Democratic Party. And so there's a legitimate history there that I think that people should know. But when you look at the two parties, it's a clear choice. Just like Bakari said, the voting for Trump, voting for Biden or the couch, a vote for the couch is a vote for Donald Trump. And one is going to give the Black community, there's at least a conversation you can have about what the agenda is. The other, it's not going to give you what you think it is. And so I think that this is a moment of education. Despite the real frustration that people have, we have to engage people and let them know what the truth is. Those are the two choices.
Natasha Alford, Bakari Sellers, thank you so much for that open and honest conversation.
At least we can have a conversation with Biden. Lady Biden told y'all got to get with the Mexicans. That was the conversation he was willing to have with y'all. Oh, I just love how the Greek freaks think they so intelligent, y'all.
Back and forth over who's really behind this push to get Biden out.
They're going to turn on Obama.
And remember, this thing really took off when former Biden folks, David Axelrod, who ran his campaign, and these podcasters, John Favreau, Tommy Vietor, and I forgot the other dude's name. And many people said these folks would not have come out so hard against Biden had Obama not given his nod. Then when that New York Times column from George Clooney came out, it was reported that Clooney called Obama before it got published, and Obama didn't tell him not to publish it. Well, the Washington Post dropped this story, go to my iPad, a couple of days yesterday. Obama tells allies Biden's path to winning re-election has greatly diminished. And so it lays out here in terms of what Biden has said. And it said Obama has spoken with Biden only once since the debate. And he has been clear in his conversations with others that the future of Biden's candidacy is a decision for the president to make. So you start going through this article, and I've been calling different people and talking to them, and they've been talking about this very thing. And remember, people forget, Obama pushed Biden out of the race in 2016. Obama was not supportive of Biden running. Obama made the decision that Hillary Clinton should be the Democratic nominee. Now, imagine if Biden had run in 2016.
Imagine.
This could very well be the end of his second term. And so now you have this internal battle, and folks are asking the questions. Why hasn't President?
But once again, see, the bull they turn on Obama. They don't care about him. He turned on them. He ain't cutting no more checks. But what this slick Greek freak just did, Obama told Biden to step down. Yeah, he had every right. He had every right. He was the two-time president. He get to say who's going to run. But what did Obama do? He blessed Biden when he was losing to Bernie and told everybody drop Biden back. Obama put Biden in the office, and they know it, and he taking them out.
President Obama gone to Joe Biden to have that face-to-face conversation. And does Obama believe that Biden should step aside? And if so, why is he not supportive of Vice President Kamala Harris? The different people have been hitting me up, Michael, Matt, and Kelly, that Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer are leading the effort to get Biden out, but also not support Vice President Kamala Harris and touting this open convention. Should President Obama be more vocal? Your assessment of all of this. Michael, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, I think he should be more vocal. And I think, I've heard about this article earlier today, and I've heard about rumblings in the back end. Obama saying that Biden's chances are dwindling, et cetera. Now, I'm careful of going by unnamed sources because I keep hearing a whole lot of unnamed sources, not just.
If you go to the last fundraiser that Obama, Biden, and Clinton went to in California, where George Clooney was there. Later, George Clooney came out. There, it's even videos. Obama had to walk Biden off the stage. Biden got stuck on the stage, didn't even know where he was at, sitting like a crazy person. Obama went got him walking off the stage, just smiling. Come on, man. These people, Obama know this man is no good no more for what they trying to do.
Just in this incident, but other incidents. There's a whole lot of unnamed sources saying this person said this person said that. But if he thinks that Biden has a shot, I think Obama should come out publicly and say, hey, back off. Like he did, like he tweeted right after Biden had the bad debate performance, he tweeted, hey, I had a bad debate performance also. It happens, right? He did that. So if he supports Biden, I think he should come out publicly and say that. But if he doesn't support him, then my question would be, okay, who do you support then for president, and who do you support for vice president? So this is
the Indian lady.
This is a little complicated here, okay? But I think he should come out and put it on the record like he did with the tweet, okay, or X, whatever it was, the social media post.
I posted something last week, Kelly, that I still stand by, and I said President Barack Obama needs to come out, publicly stand by Joe Biden, and say it. The man said he's not leaving the race. He's in it. Democrats, shut up, focus on Donald Trump, and let's run this damn campaign. See, but all of this shadowy, he's told allies and he gave a nod, and when he didn't say, don't publish that. I mean, come on. That just is drawing this whole thing out. Get off the damn pot, Kelly.
I get what you're saying, but if I recall correctly, I feel like they use Obama kind of like the big joker type of thing in Democratic politics. And by that, I mean, if I recall correctly, during the 2020 election when Biden was running, they didn't really roll out Obama in campaign strategy until like the last couple weeks, months.
But that was also his choice.
True. But I think maybe they're trying to mimic that game plan again. And that's what's happening here. I don't want it. I don't like the whole and like what Michael said, I am a little conflicted about what my opinion is of this, because if he doesn't truly support him, he should say that. If he does, he should say that. I think that the headline of his chances of winning being diminished wasn't Obama discouraging or being pessimistic. If anything, Obama is very honest when it comes to his assessment of anything. And I think that his analysis of the situation may have been misinterpreted. I think that might be what's happening here. I don't think there's a whole lot of hoopla of Obama actually discouraging Biden to run. But I don't know. I'm not in those circles.
This is, to me, Matt, this is a moment. Again, the debate was June 27th. It was 22 days ago. This is a moment where if you are deemed to be a party elder, if you're deemed to be a leader, this is when you lead. This is when you make the difficult choices. And to me, this passive aggressiveness needs to go out of the window. Damn it, people are looking for somebody to say, yo, what are we doing? And here's the deal. Biden came up with a statement today saying, I'm running. I'm going to see y'all next week. And they keep making a call, get out, get out, get out. And he's digging in. So, and in fact, Greg Sargent posted a tweet I thought was interesting. Because again, you talk about this. So he was talking to a senior Biden official. And this is what he was told. He said the single biggest thing helping keep Biden in the race right now is the open convention WrestleMania crowd. Lots of people don't want chaos, but even more would be enraged, rightly in my opinion, at bypassing Vice President Harris too. If it means potentially removing her too, they're understandably against the whole move. And those people, including but not limited to a lot of black women, are Biden's last and biggest crutch. The biggest purpose of the VP is to step in if POTUS's health fails in some way and he can't continue. And that's where we are. If this is just about people angling for their pet dream candidate, then they're part of the problem, not the solution. This is where, for me, Matt, Obama should be stepping up more aggressively than he is doing now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll go there with you. I mean, I get that from a strategic standpoint, from the idea that you talked about with him being a party leader. But first, I don't know that we should be putting more on Mr. Obama than we are Bill Clinton or Jimmy Carter or any other former Democratic president. And I know you're going to say that Obama is a current leader and he maybe has more gravitas than other people. But we're not having this conversation about Bill Clinton or anybody else. Beyond that, I think that what should happen is kind of to the earlier points we've made. The Democrats in general need to galvanize.
Oh, I see what Roland doing. Joe Biden still controlling government purse to black media funding. Joe Biden can throw that man a legal little blessing and it looks straight up business. Oh, Roland. Well, see.
Galvanize their support behind a single candidate and go forward. And it needs to be Joe Biden at this point because there's no more time. However, if Mr. Obama doesn't believe he's the right person to serve or has questions about his fitness, I think he has every right to not come out and say anything about it, with the caveat that I think if you are really aligned with the party, you have a duty to not hurt his chances. And I also think that's the counterpoint here. Possibly. It could be that Mr. Obama is staying in the background because there's a concern that if he comes out and supports Joe Biden, that's somehow going to affect the race. I don't imagine there's a thought that that's really going to sway anything in the polls, but there could be a strategic reason he has not done that. I don't know. But I do know that I don't know enough information about why he's not supporting him. It could very well be that he doesn't think he's fit. It could also be that there's some other candidate that he wants to support. It could also be that he does not want to get in the way. And I don't really have enough information to draw any conclusion from those. But I would say that the party as a whole is disadvantaging itself mightily by being in the lurch. At this point, they need to lock and load and go forward. And until that happens, it doesn't matter who comes out and supports him or doesn't support him. The needle won't be moved, and there will not be a concerted effort to make sure Donald Trump does not become the next president of the United States.
Black Star Network is here.
Cool figure. Follow me.